I'm just dealing with my boys and I can hear it so whoop, so whoop, so whoop. I'm just dealing with my boys and I can hear it so whoop, so whoop,
These accused and
so
these
whoop.
and
I'm just
everybody
dealing with my
more.
boys and I can hear it so whoop, so whoop, so whoop. I'm just dealing with my boys and I can hear it so whoop, so whoop, so whoop.
Uh-oh.
You get out, you me. I do my thing. While I beat this scene. I done beat the scene and I go to the ground. Now I'm going all out, ripping my town.
6 money.
Flies niggas since kindergarten, liars. Shoot stupid kids, been retarded. I make the coke black when I'm in the market. I make the price drop like I'm in the target. I'm like a holy prophet trying to make a profit. Rough rider, legendary prospect. I ain't where I yet. Shout out my gunman, Brenda. 10-4-5s in my extender. 2 extra clips for the extra shit. And each whole 7, you getting blessed with it. Yeah, I got so much beef, my ex was stressed with it. Right, it was eye for an eye, Old Testament. Word. The bottom of wells, my heart dwells. Treating these waters like shark tails. Word. My homie got lashed, was all bail. I had waved the shit, got tobacco with full bail. The rats used to see me on range and go tell. Catch him at court, stopping with Jordans like Montel. Swear to God, I would never pray to Jesus. For the extras, I'ma skip the Pico. Every day I pay for new AKs. That's Pablo. Every day I pay for new AKs. El Chapo. Every day I pay for new AKs. That's Pablo. Every day I pay for new AKs. El Chapo. Every day I pay for new AKs. That's Pablo. Every day I pay for new AKs. El Chapo. Every day I pay for new AKs. That's Pablo. Every day I pay for new AKs. Look, the hottest kid in the kitchen, I've been nice. God said you double crossing me, think twice. Gold chains, gold in my mouth, case full of ammunition. Cocaine on my nosebleed, that's a Kathy Griffin. Bullets light up the night sky and the Glenny boy. Magnums in the back of the whip, they call me baby boy. My ATL sending your section 80 boy. Come on. The fuck do you think the mafia pay me for? Young, rich, and handsome, bullets like an anthem. When they started singing, everybody put their hands up. Ain't nobody been doing the shit that we do. Dark blood, how many holes can I fit inside you? Scratched up with lines around them like the kids of vinyl. Put up with the Mac and fried them like the shit's a drive-thru. Angels will find you, but I would never pray to Jesus. For the extras, I'ma scrape the beaters. Yeah. Every day I pay for new AKs. That's Pablo. Every day I pay for new AKs. El Chapo. Every day I pay for new AKs. That's Pablo. Every day I pay for new AKs. El Chapo. Every day I pay for new AKs. That's Pablo. Every day I pay for new AKs. El Chapo. Every day I pay for new AKs. That's Pablo. Every day I pay for new AKs.
Let out a blitz bird, nigga. Bird, nigga.
Ah, shit, I forgot the other child.
Yeah. Hey, cruising down the street with my AR, strapped in the whip. We all trying to score. Better get low, cause we flip cars. Ride high to 10. We seen it from 4. Cruising down the street with my AR, strapped in the whip. We all trying to score. Better get low, cause these hit hard. Strap high to 10. We seen it from 4. I ain't gotta slide off the rap, pull over real quick, I'ma hop out the whip. Juice down street on foot, AR-15, got 50 in the clip. Can't run from this.
50 in the clip. Rolling with 50 in the clip.
The dick you still don't move. Cruising down the street with my AR, strapped in the whip. We all trying to score. Better get low, cause we flip cars. Ride high to 10. We seen it from 4. Cruising down the street with my AR, strapped in the whip. We all trying to score. Better get low, cause these hit hard. Strap high to 10. We seen it from 4. No trap backs when I come through. Them niggas know how bees do. All they heard was some loud shots when the cops came, gave no clues. I put in work with that Smith & Wesson, I put in work with that chop too. AK like Bruce Lee, got cake back, no kung fu. The young nigga with a lot of cash, I fuck this bitch and passed her to the class. He mad, he has the pound, so we cannot disass. No conversation in my Jason mask. Hey, cruising down the street with my AR, strapped in the whip. We all trying to score. Better get low, cause we flip cars. Ride high to 10. We seen it from 4. Cruising down the street. AR, strapped in the whip. We all trying to score. Better get low, cause these hit hard. Strap high to 10. We seen it from 4.
My city's rich, cruising my shit, I feel like the shit. Money and shit, the bitch ain't shit, I'm trying to get rich. Shooting ARs, ain't shooting out of cars, pop out when I blitz. Me and bro don't mix, a brick for the kicks, ain't selling no nicks. I'ma feed my dogs to the arms I got, spin these bands like the
What's wrong with selling nicks?
We trying to get a lot, young boss nigga just going out top. First my creams, I'm gonna see real. Ain't things never talk, kept it real. Sitting in chop, trying to get a couple mil. How can the chop, might take
Look,
no
it's
bill.
$5 pack.
Oh,
it's empty now.
We all trying to score. Better get low, cause
I paid 4. You know how that goes.
Ride high to 10. We seen it from 4. Cruising down the street with my AR, strapped in the whip. We all trying to score. Better get low, cause these hit hard. Strap high to 10. We seen it from 4. Car flip, no sandal. Shut up and hit this mandal. Vando come through 4 niggas like Rambo. AR the commando. Hop up with the mop, up slide off the Vando. Back spot me camo. XD don't stand up. Shot split through Slando. Then back to the Vando. Pull up on the floor.
Back to the Vando.
That's a quick score. Hit a stain at the kick door. He ain't game, he ain't get hang. Get killed through hang like that. He ain't really trash right back. Think a bitch for a night time. Pair of zip for it right back. No cup, give it right back. Right back down the street. Strapped in the whip. We all trying to score. Better get low, cause we flip cars. Ride high to 10. We seen it from 4. Cruising down the street with my AR, strapped in the whip. We all trying to score. Better get low, cause these hit hard. Strapped high to 10. We seen it from 4.
Oh, I forgot I put this one in there.
Have to buy this one, man.
RPGs.
Hey. Just broke me to catch up. I give you some 10,000 left.
fake niggas, I can look at their guts, yeah. Fuck if I can let it rip, it won't be a first, yeah. In the hood with my gun, niggas know I lurk, yeah. Back in the day when a nigga had his burner, all these fake niggas, I can look at their guts, yeah. Fuck if I can let it rip, it won't be a first, yeah. In the hood with my gun, niggas know I lurk, yeah. All these fake niggas hot out when I'm up, no. When I start in my help, I don't give a fuck, call me on, pick it up, stomach like it's been rough. Niggas think they won't shoot now, bitch, call my bluff. I'm chopping, I'm getting real hot. Dirty strap for the clean squirt like a nut. Extended clip with the huddles, that's in my glove. It's outside, read apart, that's where I rock. Outside, that's where I rock. Extended clip, hey, the glove. Dirty strap, cleans like a mug. Hey. I'm out with the lava. Hey. Back in the day when a nigga had his burner, all these fake niggas acting like I didn't good. So I cock up, I can let it rip, it won't be a first. Yeah, in the hood with my gun, niggas know I lurk. Yeah. Back in the day when a nigga had his burner, all these fake niggas acting like I didn't good. So I cock up, I can let it rip, it won't be a first. Yeah, in the hood with my gun, niggas know I lurk. Yeah, one day a nigga gon' be rich with my dog, but the ghetto get her in a big crib. I don't chip her fucking fast, no, I never fucking capturing that heck, nigga. I'ma do a couple laps, stacking, I'm getting that guap. And nigga talk tough like you ain't really hot. Seen you last week, nigga, seen you get stomped. Why the fuck you acting like you ready on a block? You ain't on a block, you be talking to the cops, trying to get me knocked in. Kicking the door, looking for a gun. Lame ass niggas, you already bums. Go to bed hungry, nigga, are you fucking dumb? Chase that nigga down the block, I made him fucking run. Always been about the shit since I was really young. Kicking doors, stopping niggas just for the fun. Southside, Richard Park, that's right the day when a nigga had his burner. All these fake niggas acting like a nigga guts. Yeah, fucking like I let it rip, it won't be a first. Yeah, in the hood with my gun, niggas know I lurk. Yeah, back in the day when a nigga had his burner. All these fake niggas acting like a nigga guts. Yeah, fucking like I let it rip, it won't be a first. In the hood with my gun, niggas know I lurk. Yeah.
Some tool for the gap, rolling around in my used Cadillac. If you wanna come back this cycle, like the moon, yes, nigga from your HOOD.
I'm just chillin' with my boys and I can get it so whoop. I'm just chillin' with my boys and I can hit it so whoop. I'm just chillin' with my boys and I can hit it so whoop. I'm just chillin' with my boys and I can hit it so whoop. I'm just chillin' with my boys and I can hit it so whoop. I'm just chillin' with my boys and I can hit it so whoop. I'm just chillin' with my boys and I can hit it so
I ran out of joint before music.
I'm just chilling with my boys and I can
Oh,
get it.
sort of. Not really. I think that might actually be the end of it.
Someone you know is a student in the GTA with a passion for storytelling. Submit an original traffic report for your chance to win cash prize.
Submit an original traffic report.
Information is spreading about coronavirus that's damaging the Chinese community. Armand Qureshi is at City Hall and joins us with more.
We are being singled out. We are being stigmatized because of the coronavirus.
That's Amy Goh, president of the Chinese
The vast
Canadian National
majority of the
Council.
people you see
She
that
says
you think are
fear and
Chinese are
misinformation about the
Canadian,
coronavirus as
first
the
and
members of her
foremost.
community targets for discrimination. Toronto's medical officer of health, Dr. Eileen Davila, says that is
Was
deeply
white,
concerning.
South
It is
Asian,
unhelpful
Chinese,
to
black,
have
and then somewhere at the bottom is
misinformation
native.
spreading. And frankly, it does not offer any protection.
Mayor Tory says it's imperative for you to get your information from credible sources like Toronto Public Health and avoid fake news.
This type of thinking is wrong. It is entirely
now fake news is a
inconsistent with the
real
advice
thing,
of
eh?
our healthcare professionals.
At City Hall, I'm Momin Qureshi.
Coming up in a minute's time, I'll have the business report.
680 955. Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.ca/Canada. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with
that
the right
explains
experience and
There's a
actively
quarter-inch
invites them
frickin'
to
sugar
apply to your job.
crystallized in the
So
bottom.
while other companies
Like a
might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
80% of employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. It's the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right.
Wait for it.
Free.
Wait for it.
Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.ca/Canada. That's ziprecruiter.ca/CANADA. ziprecruiter.ca/Canada.
56.
Now, the 680 News Business Report brought to you by AIA Clarendon Investments. Here's Richard Sutter.
Good evening. Hollywood has long looked to Toronto as a place to shoot its movies, taking advantage of our low tax
We
rates
will
for
shoot it,
productions.
your
But
movies.
now it seems Hollywood wants to make a movie centered around the six. Coming to the big screen later this year is an action comedy called Man from Toronto. It's going to star American comedic actor Kevin Hart and English actor Jason Statham. It's due out from Sony Studios and Columbia Pictures on November 20th.
If he's not from Toronto, we're going to boycott that shit. We'll burn down your damn theaters. You want to see Toronto uprise.
It was
You
about
better
two
be from
strangers,
Toronto.
one from Toronto, one from England, who inherited a big sum of money. The only deal was they had to get married to cash in on it. So it could be something along the same lines. All right, meantime, more serious
What?
on Air
That is
Canada.
stupid.
We found out today stopping flights
Aw.
to mainland China amid the coronavirus scare. Some airlines, though, are continuing their China flights, and those that are making some adjustments. Passengers on flights to China will have to do without hot meals, blankets, and newspapers as airlines look to step up measures to protect their crew members and fellow
You don't wash
travelers
those
from the
blankets
virus.
every so often?
Taiwan's China Airlines said it's encouraging passengers to bring their own drink bottles and their own food. Air Canada stock was actually
Fucking 20 years you've been telling us not to bring no fluids, nothing, don't bring nothing.
After the bell, including results from Tesla, it was another quarter of profitability for the electric car maker. Anthony Acoli, TD Bank.
Earned $2.14 on an adjusted basis, beating expectations of $1.72. The company also reported that it delivered 112,000 vehicles during the fourth quarter. That's a record for Tesla.
Tesla stock rocketed above $600 in the after-hours trade. Facebook gave a better than expected earnings, though investors sold that stock on news that its expenses were rising. TSX up 10,
What does Facebook do?
11. Dow gained 11, the Nasdaq up 5 points. Canadian dollar at 75.77
You can't pay them to set up like a professional pay. You can't fucking.
business has one.
give them money to do shit other than advertise. What the fuck do they do?
To fix their IT problems.
At first, it was no big deal. Just people looking to change
advertise on shopping carts, for fuck's sake. That's not
DDoS attacks, cloud migration,
something that should be publicly traded.
Oh boy.
Do you have any idea how much money this company loses every time the server goes down?
As a matter of fact,
who do these people think I am? Some kind of tech head ninja code writing cloud hosting guru?
Actually, that sounds exactly like us.
We need a new mainframe.
I don't have time for this.
We need a new mainframe.
We're Apps on Net.
Apps on what?
Apps on Net, and we're it when it comes to managed IT services for small to medium-sized business.
Go on. They didn't tell us how many people have this shit.
Proactive maintenance.
That's what I want to know.
100%.
Guaranteed?
Guaranteed.
Sold.
Get the relief you need with
We went
IT
from
support from Apps on Net.
2,644 to 4,500 the last time. What are
Or
we at
call
now?
1-855-255-4667. That's 1-855-ALL-G-NO-P. The news watch never stops. 680 News is CFTR AM Toronto. 680 News time. 10 o'clock.
#1 for breaking news, traffic, bad weather.
Hey, baby, you want to make a movie? I'm from Toronto.
Toronto.
Here are Scott Burnett and
It's
Christine
gonna work.
Ritchie.
Yes, I don't know that'll work.
Good evening. This is Wednesday, January 29th.
Here's what's making news this hour. The first case of coronavirus is confirmed in BC, which means 3 people in Canada are now sick with the illness. In China, 170 people have died. A Toronto doctor says the influenza virus kills about 2,000 Canadians a year. That's why she claims the flu is a bigger threat to us than the coronavirus.
A family torn apart. Vanessa Bryant, the widow of late NBA legend Kobe Bryant, has released her first statement following Sunday's helicopter crash that claimed the life of her husband and 13-year-old daughter.
From BMWs to Jags, a new study suggests the percentage of those who drive luxury brand vehicles are jerks.
Austin Matthews scores his 36th. Ovi jumps to 9th on the NHL all-time scoring list, and a Canadian sets a new record. Sports at 15.
Facebook reports strong earnings, though investors rush to sell its
Where do you
stock.
get money
We're looking
from?
at the reasons why. Mexico trying to sell Canada a luxurious jet, and the TSX up 10 points business at 26.
We just got Bombardier. We're going to start flying on Mexican airplanes. I don't think so.
Good evening, Craig here.
Hey, good evening. This report brought to you by
How's a Mexican going to design a de-icing system? What the fuck?
Onto the eastbound 401. It's completely blocked here for this crash. So as you're coming off the highway, it looks like you just can't. Actually, I am seeing people leave this ramp. It looks like they are going southbound on Westney. I'm not sure if you can continue northbound here. You definitely can't get by this problem. It seems to be blocking the whole intersection. We'll have some more info by the next report, but eastbound 401, the Westney ramp onto the highway is blocked for the time being. That's it. Just a bit of construction as you're traveling eastbound. The ramp to Mississauga Road, the right lane is blocked off by crews here at McCowan and the collectors. They also have taken the right lane. Morningside Indy Express, the left lane is blocked. Northbound Young ramp onto the eastbound 407, that's shut down. We have a few lanes that are gone. It's the 3 left lanes, southbound 400 through Finch. Just the left lane.
Try harder, buddy. They're gunning for your job.
404. Westbound QEW crews setting up in that left lane again at just west of Winston Churchill. And then eastbound QEW, you're going to see them at Ford Drive in the left lane. And we have the Finch ramps to the southbound 427 closed as well. Seneca students, do the hard work and have the relentless commitment to take anything on. Take the next step and join the Seneca Proud. Challenge accepted. Your next report is at 10:11. With the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
Goodbye to the clear skies. We're going to thicken up that cloud again overnight tonight and even start the day off with some flurries off the lake with an east wind. So it could be a little slippery off some of those roadways early in the morning, especially the south of GTA along the lakeshore. -8 degrees in the morning, wind chill -13. And then the afternoon is going to be drier, but still a fair bit of cloud. Couple of sunny breaks thrown in there with a high of -2 degrees. Overnight tonight, we're down to a low of -8. And in downtown Toronto, we're sitting at -4, feeling like -9 with the wind chill.
We have a clear sky up at Pearson Airport,
somewhere
minus 6
between 2,
and
13,
clear.
and 4,
6
and
News
8.
time, 10:03.
Breaking news from the West Coast tonight, where health officials in BC have confirmed what was once a presumptive case of coronavirus, bringing the total number of confirmed cases in Canada to 3.
It's Wednesday. It took that long to
plans to send a plane to Wuhan, China, the epicenter of the outbreak, to pick up around 160 Canadians trapped in the region.
6 Caitlin Lee joins us live with the very latest. Caitlin. Christine, BC's top doctor saying a Vancouver man in his 40s has the coronavirus originating in Wuhan, China. They say when he started to notice symptoms, he took the steps to isolate himself. Health officials saying they're also in regular contact with him, and the risk of transmission is low. The other 2 confirmed Canadian cases are right here in Toronto.
Who's going to admit they did anything that's a high risk?
Outside of China, where the death toll now stands at 170 people. Meanwhile, plan to evacuate stranded Canadians in Wuhan may take a number of days. Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister saying getting a plane is just the first step.
After that, obviously, in parallel to that, we need to work with the Chinese authorities with
getting a
respect
plane.
to the authorizations you need to bring the plane, obviously in China, but also work on the logistics.
It's not clear what this screening process will
No,
be,
keep
or
those
whether
people there.
those
We don't
on
want
the
them here.
plane
They're sick.
will have to be put in isolation when they do return. Reporting live, I'm Caitlin Lee.
Meantime, Air Canada says it won't be flying direct to China until at least the end of February. 680's Richard Southern reports from the 680 Business Center.
Canada's largest airline operates 33 direct weekly flights between Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver to Beijing and Shanghai, but it's going to cancel all of those as of tonight, and they'll be grounded, those flights, until at least the end of February. Now, Air Canada tells me it's doing this because it's following the Government of Canada's advisory on non-essential travel to China. But we heard from Air Canada just yesterday about demand being very low on these flights, so it's possible they just weren't financially viable to operate. We have seen other airlines like British Airways and United also scrap flights to mainland China. Richard Southern, 680 News.
And the Toronto
What other
doctor
flights
putting
do
it
those
all
planes?
into
Those same
perspective
planes will get
tonight,
used
saying at
somewhere
the current
else.
moment, the flu poses a bigger risk to the Canadian population than the coronavirus. 680's Phil Martino with more.
Sick Kids ER Dr. Dina Kulik says we have not seen a dramatic increase in the number of coronavirus cases as quickly as we did with SARS, and so far the contagion and death rate seems relatively low, especially in Canada, where we only have a few cases.
It started to spread,
hundreds or thousands of cases quickly, like we saw with SARS.
She stresses we should be focusing our attention and the discussion on the influenza virus. It's much more common right now with hundreds of thousands of cases across the country. Plus, she says we know how to prevent it.
There is an influenza
How many
vaccine,
fucking people have this
people aren't getting it, and that is scary and shocking and a bit disturbing to me.
Kulik says about 2,000 people a year in Canada die from the flu. I'm Phil Martino.
Here with All News Radio, 680 News at 10:06. A pedestrian has died after being struck by a vehicle in the Don Mills area. It happened at Lawrence Avenue East and the Donway West just after 4:30 this afternoon. Constable David Hopkinson says the man was found lying in the roadway.
Now, officers and paramedics found the man. They commenced life-saving measures, but they were unsuccessful, and he was pronounced deceased on scene.
Natalia lives in the area. She tells 680 News people often cross illegally at this spot.
It's not a regular crossing. That's
It's
the
not
problem.
illegal
But
to
they
cross.
jump because there's a shortcut to that restaurant, to the shops.
The driver is cooperating
It's
with
not
police.
illegal to cross
Sentencing
mid-block in the
proceedings
city of
began
Toronto.
today
There's
for
no
2
bylaw
men
against it.
convicted in the violent sexual assault
No
of a
such
woman
thing
at
as
the
a
College Street
jaywalking
bar.
here.
Christina Howard from City News has the latest from the courthouse. The heinous assault, or rather series of assaults, happened over the course of more than 5 hours in December 2016 at a bar owned by McMillan on College Street. Jurors saw videos of the victim stumbling around in the bar and then being
Give this guy a
pinned
longer
down,
sentence just
slapped,
for
having her
appealing.
throat grabbed, fried with cocaine, and sexually violated repeatedly by McMillan and De Jesus. She is shown repeatedly trying to push them away or tapping out. But after watching hours of video, the jury
Tapping
found she
out.
was in no state to provide any sort of consent. The Crown is seeking 12 years of prison time. De Jesus' lawyer is hoping for a sentence of 6 months less a day, so he doesn't
There's a
face
bit of a
deportation
fucking
to the
gap
Dominican
there.
Republic. Now, McMillan's lawyers have filed an appeal in relation to his conviction, all part of a change to jury selection rules. As of right now, De Jesus' lawyers have not. A sentencing decision will be handed down on February 12th.
680 News Time, 10:08. Kobe Bryant's widow has released her first public statement since a helicopter crash killed her
Somebody
husband and 13-year-old daughter.
Thanking the millions of people who've shown support and love during this horrific time, Vanessa Bryant writes on Instagram that she and her 3 girls were devastated by the loss of her adoring husband, Kobe Bryant, and her beautiful, sweet Gianna. She says words can't describe her family's pain, and it's impossible to imagine life without them, but they try to keep pushing because Kobe and Gigi are shining on them to light the way. She also says they're devastated for the other families who lost loved ones in the helicopter crash and have set up a fund to help them, and asks for the respect and privacy your family will need to navigate this new reality. Jason
this new reality. You got all the catchphrases.
And the closure of section of Line 1 tonight. The Young University subway line is taking place in about 45 minutes. Starting at 11 o'clock, service will end between Spadina and St. Andrews stations. Shuttle buses will run instead. Regular service on the Young University line will resume tomorrow morning. The same service disruption is scheduled for tomorrow night.
680 News Time, 10:09.
680 News, Toronto.
Hi, I'm Brian Scudamore from 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Is it too early to do spring cleaning?
We bring the springtime with us, ma'am. Just walk around and point at junk you wish would disappear.
Point? Wow. You really do bring the springtime.
We leave behind happy places and happy faces. We work until midnight, 7 days a week, and we can be there in 90 minutes.
7,700.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
I was close.
Visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Now the 680 News gas price update. Enpro predicts the price of gas will not change at midnight, holding at $1.09.9 a liter. Traffic and weather in 60 seconds.
680 News Time, 10:10.
As headmaster of St. Andrews College in Aurora, I'm often asked by parents why our school is right for their son.
The second you enter, you know you're a part of something truly amazing. There are tons of arts and extracurricular activities.
71 teams, 21 sports. There are so many opportunities to become a leader. 100% of our students are accepted to university.
The teachers sincerely care. They push you to do your best.
And I have brothers for life.
Experience for yourself what a St. Andrews College Day or boarding program can offer your son. Join us for our open house on February 8th.
Details at sac.on.ca.
If winter were a show, the Range Rover Sport would give you front row tickets. Introducing the 2020 Range Rover Sport, outfitted with Terrain Response 2, which delivers outstanding performance on any snow, ice, or slush-covered surface. For a limited time, lease the 2020 Range Rover Sport for $899 per month for 42 months, with $8,000 down at 5.99%. Visit your Greater Toronto Area Land Rover authorized retailer for details. Offer ends January 31st. Land Rover, above and beyond.
680 News Time, 10:11.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones at the traffic center. Craig Gear.
Scott, Christine, we're still looking at a crash here getting cleaned up. It's blocking the Westney ramp onto the eastbound 401. It's actually right in the middle of where the ramps intersect Westney. It's actually on Westney. I am seeing traffic traveling northbound on Westney itself and southbound now, but we still have the ramp onto the eastbound 401 from Westney blocked off. It shouldn't be much longer. We'll let you know when that
30
clears
times
away.
higher
West
than
is
the official
construction.
tally.
We have the northbound Young ramp to the east 407 blocked off tonight. The Finch ramps to the southbound 427 are also closed. A few extra lane restrictions here and there, but I'm not seeing any delays. Like if you're on the northbound 400 north of the 401, the 2 left lanes are blocked here for overnight construction. Southbound 400 at Finch, it's 3 left lanes that they have blocked off for construction, but everyone's moving well by this problem. Still looking at some lanes blocked at St. Clair and Birchmount. This is for a crash. It's just east of Birchmount. 407 ETR drivers say they save 20 to 60 minutes per trip. 407 ETR manages traffic for an excellent driving experience. Visit 407etr.com. Your next report is at 10:21, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsey.
It was a one-day affair, that sunshine, because we are back to mainly cloudy skies for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We've got even some morning flurries to deal with tomorrow off the lake, so could make for some slippery conditions along some of those southern GTA highways, like Highway 2 across to the QEW. We're starting off at -8, wind chill -13 in the morning, and then the afternoon is drier, mainly cloudy with sunny breaks and a high of -2, and mainly cloudy with flurries on Friday as well with a high of 0. Tonight, we're down to a low of -8 degrees.
And right now, we're sitting at -4, clear sky. Up at Pearson Airport, -6 there, and clear sky as well. 680 News Time, 10:13.
Are people who drive luxury cars self-centered jerks? Well, Jonathan Muma from City News has more on a study out of the University of Helsinki, which takes a peek under the hood to find out who's behind the wheel.
The findings were clear. Self-centered men who are argumentative, stubborn, disagreeable, and unempathetic are much more likely to own a high-status car such as an Audi, BMW, or Mercedes. But what's the root cause? Is it the money that changes them, or is it their personalities?
I feel like the money does it.
The research found these people often see themselves as superior and are keen to make sure everyone knows it.
I might have a little heavier foot if I had a luxury vehicle myself.
But the study also shows the conscientious, respectable, ambitious, reliable, and well-organized are also drawn to luxury vehicles because of a desire to own something of high quality.
I mean, usually with those decals come quality.
I'm Jonathan Muma.
Coming up in 60 seconds, we'll recap your top stories and see how the Leafs did in the Lone Star State tonight.
680 News Time 1014.
Your insurance denied your disability claim, and the bills from the holidays and everyday living are piling up. What are you going to do? Who can you call? Call me, Aaron Waxman, at 416-661-4878. And don't worry about upfront legal fees because there are none.
Turning people away that are sick.
Lawyers only get paid when you get paid. And before you call, you should always remember that there are no bad questions. 416-661-4878 or on your cell phone at pound LTD.
Maybe you don't know where to start. Maybe tomorrow's goals feel so far away. What if we told you that maybe you're closer than you think? That a simple conversation can spark something amazing. Your savings and investments can stand for so much more when they don't stand still. And Scotiabank can help every step of the way. Energize your investing. You're richer than you think. Scotiabank.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
Clear -4, feeling like -9 in downtown Toronto. Good evening from the 680 News Broadcast Center. I'm Scott Burnett.
And I'm Christine Ritchie. Here are the top stories this hour.
BC health officials confirming their presumptive case of coronavirus tonight. A 40-year-old man recently in Wuhan, bringing the total confirmed cases in Canada to 3. This as Ottawa prepares to send a plane to the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak in China to pick up around 160 Canadians that are trapped in the region. Meantime, though, health officials here at home think you should be much more concerned with good old-fashioned influenza. Flu cases in Canada sitting in the hundreds of thousands, while more than 3,000 Canadians die each year from the flu. And for the third time this year, Toronto's Chief Medical Officer of Health issuing an extreme cold weather alert. That means the warming center at Metro Hall will stay open until noon on the day that the alert is canceled. Now, 680 Sports. Now we go to Sportsnet 590 fan, Andy McNamara.
Thank you, Scott. Well, the Maple Leafs were in Dallas tonight, and the visitors opened the scoring.
Took the line there by Barry. Marner in front of the net.
Man who says, remember these two fucking cops in Oshawa? Or Durham, or wherever the fuck they were? Man who says he was beaten by cop brother accused of lying on the stand. A young black man who testified he was beaten by an off-duty Toronto police officer and his brother 3 years ago. You have to wait 3 fucking years, right? Three years ago, was accused of perjury Wednesday as the pair's trial heard dramatically different accounts of the incident. So basically, the defense keeps saying that these people were doing crimes, so therefore we didn't do anything wrong. Okay, but that's not how the law works. The law don't work like that. You can't just say, well, they did a crime when they haven't been convicted or tried of the crime. And that doesn't have nothing to do with whatever crime you did. That's not how the law works, right? Defense lawyers representing Constable Michael Theriot and his brother Christian alleged Devontae Miller lied on the stand about the events that unfolded in Whitby, Ontario in the early hours of December 28, 2016. In their closing submissions in an Oshawa court, the lawyers argued Miller lied when he denied breaking into cars with his friends at night. They can't force you to incriminate yourself either. So, like, none of this shit matters in reality. As a result, they argue Miller's testimony is tainted and the Theriots who have pleaded not guilty to aggravated assault should be acquitted. To convict based on Miller's testimony, quote, would be vindicating perjured testimony, end quote, and amount to a miscarriage of justice, argued Michael Lacey, who represents Michael Theriault. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce that. It looks, I don't know, French mixed with something. Prosecutors, however, said the brothers were not justified in chasing the then 19-year-old and beating him so badly that he lost his left eye, regardless of whether or not he was braking the cars at the time. Because that's what the law fucking says. And if Miller did, in fact, lie about the events leading up to the encounter, that would be understandable given that he was the one handcuffed and arrested that night, even as he lay bleeding on the ground, Crown Attorney Linda Shin told the court. So it's completely understandable he would give the account he did, she said, adding many of the inconsistencies highlighted by the defense are insignificant and explainable. Miller's testimony on the key issues of the trial, including who wielded a pipe during the fight, was corroborated by other independent witnesses, Shin argued. Miller, now 22, testified before the judge-alone trial last fall, saying he was badly beaten with a pipe during the early morning encounter and didn't have an opportunity to fight back. He only recalled seeing Michael Theriault with the pipe. His lawyers have alleged outside court that race played a role in the attack. No shit. Michael Theriault, who was the last on the stand, acknowledged he hit Miller, but said he did so only with his fist and out of self-defense. So remember, these are words he's saying now. This is not things that were found like during the course of an investigation, and that's why he wasn't charged. He wasn't charged because he's a white cop and his brother's a white brother of a fucking cop. As soon as they say that minority did something that offended me, it doesn't matter what condition you're in. You're the one getting charged, period. I know. It doesn't matter what it says on the computer. They keep entering white on the computer so they can pretend they're not being racist. They've known what I am since at least the age of 8. I don't know why the fucking police been in my life the whole fucking time, but they have been. So before these fucking computers were brought out, they know what the fuck I am. And they keep entering white. This is why they're not supposed to be entering anything in the computers. That's where the fucking cards come from, the carding, writing down everybody's data when they stop you. Because they had their right access to the CPIC computers revoked. You can look all this shit up. Toronto Police Service had their access revoked from the CPIC computers. So Michael Theriault, who was last on the stand, acknowledged he hit Miller. So he just admitted to committing an assault with a weapon. It was done with a weapon. It doesn't matter what he says here. He hit Miller, but said he did so only with his fist and out of self-defense. So all the other witnesses are lying, all of them. He testified it was Miller who attacked him and his brother with a metal pipe or pole after the pair caught him and another young man stealing items from a truck belonging to the Theriault's parents. Which the truck was locked and the doors were closed or some shit. I would have to go back. I know I read that one. Theriault said he chased me. I don't remember what the date was, so I'm going to have to look for it. Theriault said he chased Miller into a dark area between two homes, his brother close behind, and body checked him. So he's using a hockey sports term. So he's a good white kid from the suburbs. He plays hockey, body check. He didn't fucking tackle him and hurt him. He fucking body checked him like it's hockey. He testified that's when Miller hit him with the pipe. After you knocked him down, he hit you with a pipe. Adding, his brother was also struck in the head. And he didn't have injuries to his head that night. Theriault told the court he was not injured in the fight, but felt, quote, general soreness, saying, quote, his brother initially told investigators he was sore, but reported more than a week later that he had since been diagnosed with a concussion. Court heard Theriault never identified himself as a police officer, though he was later heard on a 911 call telling Miller that he was under arrest. Lacey said Michael Theriault didn't need to identify himself as a police officer or state that he was conducting an arrest during the incident because, quote, it was clear from the circumstances of the chase. The fuck? Given that Miller was caught in a vehicle, quote, it's obvious why he's being pursued, end quote, Lacey said. He wasn't caught in a vehicle. He wasn't caught in a vehicle. They fucking were chasing him up the street. He wasn't in a vehicle. The Crown has argued the brothers could also be found guilty of aggravated assault for carrying out an unlawful arrest or using excessive force during that arrest. Brothers, remember, they're not both cops. The other one's not a cop. It doesn't matter what the fuck his brother is. He's not a cop. Prosecutor Peter Scruton said Wednesday that based on Theriault's own version of events, there was nothing to indicate the officer was carrying out an arrest, which means any force used in the process was unnecessary and unjustified. That's the prosecutor saying that. Quote, he is not going there with arrest foremost in his mind. He's going out there to mete out some street justice, Scruton said. Devontae Miller is entitled to run away from street justice. Yeah, and we're fucking gonna shoot at you when we're running away. Hey, we got sharp things and things too. We'll fucking pick up a brick and launch it at you. Don't fucking put your hands on me. Don't put your fucking hands on me. I'm so sick of that. Miller has denied stealing from cars that night, telling he hasn't been convicted of it, so he didn't fucking do it till the court said. If the court said he did it, then that'd be different, but they didn't. Miller has denied stealing from cars that night, telling the court he was out walking with two friends when the Theriaults started questioning them about why they were in the area. Happens all the time. He said the brothers began chasing him when he and his friends walked away. The judge is expected to give his ruling on April 9th, and that's just where it ends because it's still the middle of a fucking trial, right? So. Doesn't matter. It doesn't. I get fucking told the craziest shit. Oh well, you're suspicious because I have a computer or I have a phone or I have car keys or whatever the fuck I'm doing. It's suspicious, but they won't fucking come out and say race. And then they go, oh, you're white after they fucking get my name and shit. Well, they already know who the fuck I am because they're following me on purpose. They fucking. But once they've got me and they're fucking looking at the computer and shit, you're white, you're white, you're white. Then they fucking pull it up on the computer. Yeah, fuck you. They're writing race on these cards. They're writing the race on the cards. How is that getting updated to the CPIC computer? They're writing the fucking race on the cards. Whatever race they want you to fucking be, eh? They would tell you it's us, all this diversity, all of us are fighting with each other because we're all different. That's not what's happening. They make that shit up as they go. They write down whatever fucking race they want you to fucking be, eh? It's the only fucking interesting thing I found.
Our directions to our sales office. Visit Fremont.com.
At Muskoka Woods, they believe that reflecting on positive experiences helps kids grow in confidence, and that starts with fun.
The best thing about Muskoka Woods is probably the wide array of activities they offer. For me, fun is art, and I love the artistic activities. I like that because it's a really social time, so you get to know your friends better.
Great staff, activities, and facilities like no other, combined for unlimited confidence-boosting fun. Muskoka Woods, experience for a lifetime. Visit MuskokaWoods.com.
Muskoka Woods.
It's 10:26. Got a business report live at the Business Center, Richard Southern.
Good evening. Facebook eked out a small beat on earnings, but its costs and expenses surged 34% in the fourth quarter, dragging down its operating margins. It seems the world's biggest social network is facing some fierce competition now for user screen time from the likes of TikTok and Netflix. As a result, the investors sold Facebook stock after hours. It fell more than 7%. Company did report a revenue of $21.08 billion and earnings of $2.14 per share. On the flip side, strong results in from Tesla, the electric car manufacturer, with another quarter of profitability, sending its stock to a record above $600 US. Microsoft beat the street, and its stock was higher today. Here's an interesting one. Mexico is trying to sell its luxurious presidential jet to Canada. You see, Mexico's previous president dropped 200 million big ones on a brand new 787, fully kitted out with a private bedroom and marble bathrooms. Though Mexico's current president views it as wasteful and wants to unload it. He says he learned that Prime Minister Trudeau's plane has had problems, and he said Mexico will offer Canada a deal, $130 million for the jet. though it says it hasn't yet heard back from the Canadian government. The TSX today was up 10 points at 17,511. Air Canada stock actually adding 1.1% to $45.60, even with news that it's planning to stop direct flights to mainland China temporarily. The Dow Jones Industrial Average up 11 points at 28,734. S&P fell 2. The Nasdaq Composite up but 5 points. Gold was higher to 1,581 US dollars the ounce, and the Canadian dollar trended lower. The loonie down to 75.77 cents US. Top stories are next on 680 News.
When you need to know now.
680news.com.
Hi, it's Ivanka Osmak. Normally, I'm a sports anchor for Sportsnet, but today I'm spreading the news about Sleep Country's Aquagel pillow. To be honest, I'd never even heard of a gel pillow before their sleep experts suggested I try it out, and I'm glad they did. The pillow is so comfortable. It's
Remember, the kid lost his fucking eye. That's how bad he got beaten.
It's a super breathable alternative to memory foam that
There's a
cradles
bloody
your
pipe.
neck and keeps you
And
cool.
the guy-
I've always been a little picky about my pillow.
They
but
still
that was
handcuffed
totally
the person
embraced
that
when I
was
went to
injured
Sleep Country.
and didn't
Their
charge
sleep
the two
experts
people that they
are
knew hit it.
obsessed. It was amazing to see all the options they could recommend based on just a few things I told them about my sleeping habits. So really, no matter how you sleep, I'm sure they'll be able to recommend a great pillow to you. Plus, right now, when you buy one Aquagel pillow, you get a second Aquagel pillow free. Get matched to your perfect pillow at Sleep Country or order online at sleepcountry.ca today. Sleep Country, all for sleep.
Getting you where you need to go
faster.
The most traffic in Toronto. 680 News.
This is CFTR 680 News at 10:30.
Number one for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Here are Scott Burnett and Christine Ritchie.
Good evening. This is Wednesday, January 29th.
Here's what's making news this hour.
Health officials maintaining the risk of transmission is low as a third Canadian case of coronavirus is confirmed, this time in BC. In the wake of the coronavirus, Air Canada now canceling all direct flights to and from mainland China.
Pull out the hats and scarves. Toronto issuing its third extreme cold weather alert of the year.
That Netflix docuseries about Aaron Hernandez not sitting well with his family on ABC's Jason Athens with more on that coming up.
Leafs win their second straight. Well, the Battle of Alberta.
Now I'm going to find out all about you because you're complaining about it. I didn't know who the fuck you were.
Never mind humans being replaced by robots. How about groundhogs? We're looking at what PETA wants to happen to Punxsutawney Phil. Canadian beer sales falling off a cliff, and the TSX brews up a small
This is the Fonte Miller assault trial. This is the Fonte Miller assault. He's not charged with assault. The fucking cop is.
This report is brought to you by IA Clarington Investments. So we don't have any crashes or anything causing any delays. It's just a bit of construction out there that's slowing things down. It's on the eastbound 401. The construction is at the 400 in the express. The left lane is blocked, and it's still a slow go through here. If you can get by in the collectors through the 400 stretch, you should be all right. We have some road work happening at McCowan in the collectors, right lane block. Morningside in the express, they've shut down an extra lane, so it's 2 left lanes through here. But again, everything's up to speed through this stretch of construction. It's just as you're passing by the 400 in the express, that's where we're seeing the slowdowns. We have some ramps that are blocked too. Northbound Young ramp to the eastbound 407 shut down for some overnight maintenance, and the Finch ramps to the southbound 427 shut down as well. We have 3 left lanes blocked, southbound 400 through Finch, but we're up to speed, and northbound 400 just north of the 401. 2 left lanes are blocked here, but no problems, no delays. Off the highway, some lanes are still blocked here for crash cleanup at St. Clair, just east of Birchmount. IA Clarington, where they believe in the value of active management to navigate today's complex markets. Visit iaclarington.com. Your next report is at 10:41, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Renza. Hi.
Tonight, we're down to a low -8 degrees. Wind chill -13 is what you need to dress for in the morning. It's going to be cloudy, couple of sunny breaks late in the afternoon, but watching for some morning flurries could make for some slick conditions in the morning, as well as some reduced visibility, especially right along the lakeshore. So watch for that. Tomorrow's high -2 degrees. Tonight, we're down to a low of -8, wind chill -13.
Right now in downtown Toronto, a clear sky, -4 degrees, feeling like -4. 680 News Time, 10:33.
Breaking news from the West Coast, where doctors say a third case of coronavirus has been identified in British Columbia. This time, a man in his 40s is said to have the illness after traveling to Wuhan province, which is the epicenter of the virus. Meantime, 160 Canadians are stuck in that area right now and want to get out. The federal government is trying to charter a plane for them, but faces delays as they try to work out the logistics with China.
680's Caitlin Lee joins us live with more on the new case in BC and on the Canadian rescue effort. Caitlin.
Scotland health officials say the Vancouver man, a regular traveler to China, was well aware of the illness when he started noticing symptoms. He then put himself in isolation. BC's top doctor now confirming he has coronavirus, and the risk of transmission, however, is low. As you said, there are 3 total cases now in Canada. 2 others are here in Toronto. Over 7,800 people are sick worldwide, but the only deaths have been reported in China, where 170 people have died. Meantime, the Foreign Affairs Minister says it may take a number of days before dozens of Canadian citizens can be evacuated from the epicenter of the outbreak.
Because you need to work out on the diplomatic side, you need to work out on the logistics side. But what we're going to be making sure in the meantime, we're going to provide all the consular assistance.
Plans are still being developed. It's not yet clear if people showing symptoms will be allowed to board or if everyone on board will have to be put in isolation once they return. Reporting live, I'm Caitlin Lee. Meantime, Air Canada says it is now suspending all direct flights to mainland China. 680's Richard Southern joins us from the Business Center.
Indeed, Air Canada is grounding all of its direct flights to mainland China.
You're going to breach the planes so you can fly into China?
Flights to Beijing and Shanghai, out of Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver. But as of tonight, no more. They'll be grounded until at least the end of February. Air Canada, though, will continue to operate service to Hong Kong. If you're on one of these canceled flights, Air Canada says it will contact you. The move, Air Canada says, is because the government of Canada is advising non-essential travel to China. However, the airline announced just yesterday that it was seeing weak demand on these flights, so it may have been a case that they weren't financially viable to operate. Richard Southern, 680 News.
680 News Time at 10:35. Toronto's medical officer of health says misinformation is spreading about coronavirus that's damaging our Chinese community. 680's Momin Qureshi is at City Hall.
Because the coronavirus is new and unknown, Councillor Christian Wong Tam says it's understandable that some people are concerned, but it doesn't excuse certain behavior.
In times of fear and uncertainty, people are going to look for blame. It is a natural human reaction. But at the same time, we want to not necessarily fall victim to that.
Dr. Joseph Wong is a physician and the founder of the Chinese Canadian National Council. He says that fear is leading to members of the Chinese Canadian community being targets of discrimination.
People are not acting with evidence and fact. People are acting with fear and panic.
Toronto's medical officer of health, Dr. Eileen Davila, says the spreading of misinformation is not helping.
And this is creating unnecessary stigma against members of our community.
At City Hall, I'm Momin Qureshi.
680 News Time, 10:36. A man is dead after he was struck by a vehicle at Lawrence Avenue East and the Donway this afternoon. The call came into Toronto Police at around 4:30. It's unclear what caused the collision, but Natalia tells 680 News people often take an unsafe shortcut in the area.
In the area that is not, that doesn't have a crossing with a light, so dangerous.
A stretch of Lawrence Avenue East was closed for over 4 hours for the police investigation, but has since reopened.
It's official. The title of greatest goal scorer in women's soccer history belongs to a Canadian. 680's Lucas Castelletto reports.
For years, Christine St. Clair has been the face of Canadian soccer, with her impressive knack for scoring goals spanning the globe, ranging from Argentina to Zimbabwe. On Wednesday at the CONCACAF Women's Olympic Qualifiers, St. Clair etched her name in the record books the only way she knows how.
Going on, St. Clair wide open. Is this it? It is! St. Clair has done it!
St. Clair's 185 goals passes American Abby Wambach, who was classy and quick to recognize the Canadian soccer icon, tweeting, "Christine, history is made. Your victory is our victory. We celebrate with you." At 36 years old, the twilight is beginning to appear on the horizon. For now, though, it's time to simply relish in the accomplishment and celebrate Christine St. Clair's brilliance. I'm Lucas Castelletto.
Well, you may not relish this after a nice stretch of above average temperatures. The bitter cold is making a return. Toronto's Chief Medical Officer of Health has issued an extreme cold weather alert. The warming center at Metro Hall is now open and will stay open until noon on the day the alert is canceled. This is Toronto's third extreme cold weather alert of the year.
The former fiance of Aaron Hernandez says she doesn't support a new TV show about the football star and convicted killer.
Shayana Jenkins Hernandez speaking out for the first time about the Netflix docuseries Killer Inside, the Mind of Aaron Hernandez.
You can't describe someone's sexuality without them being here.
Several men in the series say they slept with Hernandez, something Hernandez never talked about with Shayana.
I wish that he would have told me, because I would not have loved him any differently.
She tells Good Morning America she was asked to be a part of the series, but said no because the couple's now 8-year-old girl.
I wanted to leave it in the past, let my daughter grow without her having bad memories to look back on.
Hernandez died from suicide while in prison for murder, a murder Shayana maintains Hernandez did not commit. Jason Ingleson, ABC News, Hollywood.
Netflix and other streaming services could soon be under the thumb of the CRTC. That's one of the recommendations in an expert report commissioned by the federal government. It suggests the regulator should be given the power to create a registration process for media content on the internet, regardless of country of origin. It also says all non-Canadian streaming providers should have GST and HST tacked on to them. Coming up in 30 seconds, we'll take a look at gas prices.
680 is 10:39.
Jenny Cooper, who's dead.
Death is her
all
living.
about taxes.
Just trying to put a picture together of how he died.
And she won't rest until she uncovers the truth.
You know, it is my mission as coroner to speak for the dead so that I can protect the living.
Don't miss the hit drama series, Coroner. New episode, Monday at 9 on CBC.
I don't believe that there's nothing happening.
Now, the 680 News gas price update, and Pro predicts the price will not change at midnight, holding at $1.09.9 a liter at most GTA stations. Coming up in a minute's time, the traffic report.
680 News time, 10:40.
We're back! Steven, for the win! What's smarter? Getting honey from a wasp nest or leasing a new 2020 Honda Civic LX from just $66 weekly at 3.99% and zero down, including the $750 Honda bonus at the Honda Drive Smart event.
Jerry, it's the Civic.
You're a smart cookie.
Thank you.
What's smarter than you buy Honda, driven to reduce emissions since 1948? Includes rate and fees for 60 months, taxes, extra OACC, HondaOntario.com. Game Day Sunday. The excitement, the heart-pounding adrenaline.
And the hearty Italian classics from Palma Pasta. Change up your game day traditions. Feed your hungry fans with an extra large meat or veggie lasagna for $65.99 or a large lasagna for $26.99. This Saturday and Sunday only. Cheesy and hearty, perfect for the big game. For locations, visit palmapasta.com. Palma Pasta, Italian tradition.
Simply delicious.
Time 10:41.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Craig here.
This report is brought to you by Sun Life Financial. So a bit of construction is slowing things down. It's on the eastbound 401 Express at the 400. In the Express, it's very slow. The left lane's blocked through here. So if you want a faster journey, pick the collectors if you're going by this stretch of maintenance. We do have some work happening at McCowan in the collectors again. The right lane is closed, but we're up to speed. Morningside in the Express, it's 2 left lanes. So again, pick the collectors through here if you want some extra room, but there aren't any delays. Northbound Young Ramp to the east 407 shut down. We have 2 left lanes blocked just north of the 401 on the northbound 400, and southbound 400 at Finch. It's the 3 left lanes, but no problems here. We're all up to speed. The Finch ramps to the southbound 427 also shut down, and missing some lanes at St. Clair just east of Birchmount. This is for a crash. Are you planning for your health, home, or retirement? Sun Life has great advice to get you ready for life's important moments. Sun Life can help at sunlife.ca. Your next report is at 10:51, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
Increase in cloud overnight tonight, and we're dropping to -8, wind chill -13. That's your wake-up wind chill. We've got an east wind as well, up to about 15 kilometers per hour. Could just be cold enough and strong enough to drive in some lake effect flurries into the morning along some of those roadways right along the lakeshore. So watch out, could be a little slippery in spots. The afternoon is drier, mainly cloudy with sunny breaks and a high of -2, and mainly cloudy with flurries on Friday to end off the month with a high near 0 degrees. Tonight we're down to a low of -8 degrees.
Downtown Toronto right now, clear and -4. At Pearson Airport, clear and -7. 680 News Time, 10:43.
Toronto Public High School teachers want the TDSB to cancel all field trips to Quebec until Bill 21 is revoked. The OSTF Toronto Teachers Bargaining Unit passed a motion asking the school board to consider if sending students and staff to Quebec is appropriate in light of the bill. The legislation prohibits public sector workers from wearing religious symbols and was recently passed by the Quebec Parliament. In a letter to trustees, OSSTF Toronto President Leslie Wolf says, quote, members are worried that those students who wear religious symbols themselves may be aware of this law and may feel unsafe, unwelcome, or at a minimum, uncomfortable in Quebec, unquote. She noted that there are plenty of other places where students can experience both French language and culture, including New Brunswick and Northern Ontario. Coming up in health and lifestyle news at 10:48. The flu poses a bigger risk to Canadians right now than the coronavirus, according to one Toronto doctor. She claims that is where we should be focusing our attention. 680 News Time, 10:44.
Snow/ice. To the Jaguar F-Pace, winter is just another opportunity to shine. The 2020 Jaguar F-Pace Performance SUV has an adaptive surface response system to grip the road with ease, no matter the conditions. For a limited time, lease the 2020 Jaguar F-Pace for $499 per month for 39 months with $6,000 down at 2.9%. Visit your Greater Toronto Area Jaguar authorized retailer today for details. Hurry! Offer ends January 31st.
This is the first sound you hear when we get hit by a snowstorm. And this is the second sound you hear. Snowplows on the DVP and the Gardner. When it snows, the city has over 5,600 kilometers of roads to salt and plow. And in order to get more people where they need to go safely, we clear expressways, major roads, and transit routes first.
5,600 kilometers.
It's how we keep you moving, Toronto. Get to know the plan for snow at toronto.ca/snow.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
It's -4 with a clear sky. Good evening. We're from the 680 News Broadcast Center in downtown Toronto. I'm Christine Ritchie.
I'm Scott Burnett here. The top stories this hour.
A third case of coronavirus appears in Canada, this time in British Columbia. It was originally a presumptive case, but doctors confirmed tonight it is in fact a virus. A man in his 40s recently returned from Wuhan province. The 2 other cases are here in Toronto. And 160 Canadians stuck in the epicenter of China's coronavirus, breathing a sigh of relief tonight after Canada announces today that it's planning to charter a plane to evacuate them from Wuhan.
I don't have planes.
The federal government is not giving it a definite day, but reports it's still in talks with China on how to arrange for the rescue. And coming up after sports, U.S. custom officials discover the world's longest underground smuggling tunnel between Tijuana, Mexico and San Diego. 680 News Time, 10:46.
I don't know how far that is.
Now, 680 Sports Bombs.
Wrong border.
Here's Andy McNamara.
Thanks, Christine. And Maple Leafs were looking to make it 2 in a row down in Dallas, and we're leading the lead-off goals for Austin Matthews.
Tell us about the tunnel and
William Nylander.
Straight to sport.
The race for it now. The Leafs are going to score into an empty net. Johnson puts the finishing touches to it, and the Leafs are going to go 2 for 2 on the road in Nashville and now Dallas. Joe Bowen with the call on Sportsnet 590. The Fan as Johnson put the finishing touch on a 5-3 victory. Ottawa is up next on Saturday. The Capitals' Alex Ovechkin took sole possession of 9th place on the all-time NHL scoring list with his 693rd goal, leapfrogging Steve Yzerman, and is just 1 back of Mark Messier for 8th. Washington fell to Nashville 5-4. The highly anticipated revenge match between the Flames and Oilers is on Sportsnet now. Calgary leading 1-0. And the Raptors are off tonight playing it cautious with Marc Gasol, who will miss Thursday's game in Cleveland with a hamstring strain. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590.
680 News Time, 10:47.
Hey, the bank called today about our RSP contributions.
I thought we decided to move them over to Quest Trade.
Well, we've got a lot on our plate right now.
We can't wait another year. The lower fees could mean over 100,000 more for us.
This.
For her. For her future.
For that, we can find a few minutes.
Save your retirement. See how you can retire wealthier with the Quest Wealth Portfolio's RRSP.
Will the Battle of Alberta live
There
up
are as many as 2,000 homeless youth in our city each night. Would you care?
What if I told you most of them have suffered from abuse and neglect? Then would you care? What if I told you many feel safer on the street than they do at home? Now do you care? What if I told you I really need your help?
How young do they need to be before you care?
Donate $8 a month to Covenant House Toronto and provide homeless kids with a warm bed, hot meal, and a better future. Visit covenanthousetoronto.ca to donate.
6 City News Time 10:48. A Toronto doctor says Canadians should be focusing on the flu rather than the coronavirus. According to Sick Kids ER physician Dinah Kulik, the flu is much more common right now with hundreds of thousands of cases right across the country.
Now, and the coronavirus won't have a vaccine for a
Dinah
year.
Kulik says the flu is an actual threat to people right now.
The death rate is higher, the infection rate is higher. It's in our backyard.
The pediatric emergency medicine doctor at Sick Kids says about 2,000 Canadians die from the influenza virus every year.
What's happening in China is devastating and tragic, and there's many, many sick people. So I don't want to take away from that, but we don't have that in Canada at the moment. So I think we don't need to be so fearful of coronavirus per se, but we should be diligent and vigilant about protecting ourselves against all respiratory viruses.
Kulik says when it comes to protecting yourself from the flu or the coronavirus, be vigilant about hand hygiene, avoid being around sick people, and stay away from people if you are sick yourself. I'm Phil Martino.
The symptoms range from no symptoms to death.
1,300 meter, or almost 1 kilometer, smuggling tunnel that runs from Tijuana, Mexico into the San Diego area is the longest tunnel ever found along the border. After the tunnel was discovered in late August, Mexican police identified the entrance in that country. Since then, members of the San Diego Tunnel Task Force have been mapping the tunnel. Coming up in a minute's time, we'll have the look at your roads traffic report. 6 City News Time at 10:50.
Hey, I've got a secret to tell you, but you have to keep it between you and me. I know where you can book your perfect winter escape. Redtag.ca. Right now, receive Redtag.ca exclusive price drop assurance. If the price of your vacation drops, you'll get cash back. Book today and get the vacation you want with the price drop assurance. Visit Redtag.ca or call 1-866-5REDTAG. Redtag.ca.
Trend alert for the new year? Sleep. It's so hot right now. And the best part, it looks good on everyone. Can't say that about bangs.
Sleep better this year with Sleep Country's year-end model sale. Get amazing prices on select brand new beds in 2019 styles, colors, and fabrics, and our sleep experts will match you to your best sleep. Plus, get a Hot Buy Sealy Eurotop Queen mattress with extra back support, just $489. Hurry in store or online. It ends soon. Sleep Country, home for sleep.
Local news, weather, and traffic as it happens.
680 News. 680 News Time at 10:51. We head over to the traffic center with Craig Gear.
This report is brought to you by Monte Carlo Inn. So a bit of construction causing some slowdowns. So eastbound 401 at the 400 in the Express. The left lane is closed. So if you want a faster journey, pick the collectors and it'll be much faster for you. And then at McCowan in the collectors, the right lane is blocked here. This zone stretches for quite a while. So you may find some slowdowns every once in a while through this stretch. And then I'm starting to see a slowdown in the Express now on the eastbound 401 as you approach Meadowvale. Anywhere from east of Morningside and approaching Meadowvale is where we're seeing some slowdowns, and that's because of construction in the Express here in the two left lanes. We have the northbound Young ramp to the east 407 shut down for maintenance, and the Finch ramps to the southbound 427 are closed. We have a few lane restrictions on the north and south 400, but everything's up to speed. Northbound, north of the 401, two left lanes are closed. Southbound 400 at Finch, it's the three left lanes, but I'm not seeing any problems here because of it. Looking for a wonderful winter escape? Right now at Monte Carlo Inns, you can save 20% on a luxury suite. Go to MonteCarloInns.com and enter the promo code WINTER. Your next report is at 11:01, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramzahai.
Temperatures tonight down to -8. Last night was -7 degrees, just for comparison, and you'll want to dress for wind chills around -13 in the morning. We're waking up Back to mainly cloudy skies for the next 4 days, likely into some morning flurries as well off the lake. So this will really mostly impact areas along the lakeshore. The further north you go, it's going to be dry, mainly cloudy in the afternoon with a high of -2. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all 3 days are mainly cloudy with flurries and getting milder a little bit each day. Friday's high 0 degrees, Saturday up to 1 degree, Sunday up to 3 degrees. And with those flurries on Sunday, we could even mix in some rain showers because it'll be so mild. We will be back to sunshine, though, by Monday. Tonight, we're down to a low of -8 degrees.
And right now in downtown Toronto, we're sitting at -4 with a clear sky. Up at Pearson Airport, -6 and clear sky there.
This extended forecast is brought to you by Cold Drops.
One drop for temporary relief of sore throat and nasal congestion.
Cold Drops.
Cold Drops are available at Metro pharmacies near you. This product may not be right for you. Always read and follow the label.
Over 500,000 Canadians are currently living with Alzheimer's disease. How can you
They
help?
don't even know
help
it.
by creating a
Just
team
put
with
that in
friends,
there.
family, or coworkers and fundraising together for the 30th IG Wealth Management Walk for Memories in support of the Alzheimer's Society. On Saturday, February 1st, join the largest
Alzheimer's,
indoor
don't forget
walk
to
in
get
support
high.
of Alzheimer's disease in Toronto. Visit walk.alz.to for more information and to register. That's walk.alz.to. Together, we walk.
Coming up at 11 o'clock, the latest on a third case of coronavirus appearing in Canada tonight, this time in British Columbia. Doctors say the man in his 40s had recently traveled from Wuhan province, the epicenter of the virus in China. And the federal government arranging a plane to rescue the 160 Canadians stranded in Wuhan province. So far, some 7,000 people in China have contracted the virus, with 170 people dying. No word on just when those Canadians will be evacuated. 680 News Time, 10:54.
Traffic is always changing. Now more than ever.
Listen 3, 4, 5 times a day.
This is 680 News.
Ask for us on your smart speaker.
Well, some people seem to think if you own a luxury car, you love to flaunt the rules of the road, you drive aggressively, and you're overall just a jerk behind the wheel. And now science is finally backing that up. Jonathan Muma from City News has more on a study out of the University of Helsinki, which shows many of those drivers do, in fact, tend to be terrible.
With that settled, we can look at the root cause. Is it the money that changes them, or is it their personalities?
When you get the money, you kind of, you're entitled to you're better than everybody else.
The findings were clear. Self-centered men who are argumentative, stubborn, disagreeable, and unempathetic are much more likely to own a high-status car such as an Audi, BMW, or Mercedes.
They have a feeling of power, tend to be in that left lane, going faster than most people.
But this isn't the rule. In fact, the study shows another group of people are drawn to luxury cars: the conscientious, the respectable, ambitious, reliable, and well-organized. The research suggests that's linked to the desire to own something of high quality. I'm Jonathan Miwa.
Well, break out the eyeliner, a popular emo band from the odds is touring for the first time in 9 years. Romance announcing a series of North American dates. This is from Ward.
680 News Time, 10:55.
You've been diagnosed with depression and can't work. Your disability insurer denies your claim and has never sent you to see a doctor. Think this can't happen? Think again. My name is Aaron Waxman. And if your long-term disability claim is denied for any reason, call me at 416-661-4878. And don't worry about upfront legal fees, because there are none. At my law firm, my lawyers only get paid when you get paid and before you call. You should always remember that there are no bad questions. 416-661-4878 or on your cell phone at pound LTD.
I joined because I wanted to help others.
To be a part of something bigger.
To show my kids what's important.
I joined to make my community stronger.
To make a difference in someone's life.
To acknowledge that our freedoms come at a cost.
I joined to honor my mom.
My grandpa.
My neighbor.
Everyone who served.
Who are serving still.
Honoring veterans is our duty.
Would you serve at home?
Legion.ca/join.
Lately about robots perhaps coming for human jobs, but how about robots coming for
let a vending machine sell drugs and see how long that vending machine lasts.
Is calling for Punxsutawney Phil to be replaced with an animatronic AI-controlled groundhog. Of course, every February 2nd, Phil and Wyerton Willie here close to the home get dragged out of their holes and are held up to all the crowds and the flashing lights to supposedly predict the start of spring. PETA, though, says current accommodations don't allow for the groundhogs to dig or burrow or forage like other groundhogs naturally do, and therefore they want to see an animatronic one replace Punxsutawney Phil.
It's PETA's fault,
Canadian beer sales have fallen, we found out now, the most since Prohibition. New report today found that beer demand was down 4% last year. Analysts say younger people are passing on beer, choosing other ready-to-drink mixes. Sylvan Chelobal with Dalhousie University says it's particularly troublesome news for the growing number of breweries in Canada.
We are expecting 200 more breweries to open up over the next 12 to 18 months in Canada. That would actually bring that number up to almost 1,200. That's a lot of brewers competing for a marketplace that is shrinking. So, but we are expecting some M&A activity, and that's probably going to help a little bit. But overall, there are many brewers out there which aren't profitable, and I suspect that over time they may disappear.
All right, meantime, no more fake meat at Tim Hortons. It's going to stop selling the Beyond Meat products due to weak demand.
The infrastructure wasn't there. They don't have any grills. It wasn't executed properly because it's not. Proteins are not in their DNA.
Shares of the Tim Hortons parent higher to $82.97. Beyond Meat stock was down 4.3%. TSX gained 10 points today. Dow was up 11. Nasdaq up 5. Facebook beat the street on earnings, though its stock fell as costs rose. Canadian dollar 75.75 cents US. At the Business Center, I'm Richard Sutter.
Challenge accepted. It's more than a meme, a catchphrase, a saying. It's a call to action, a question, one that we at Seneca ask ourselves. What challenge are you accepting?
Being the first in my family to study in Canada.
Changing career paths.
Taking charge of my future.
Because we all do the hard work and have the relentless commitment to take anything on. An uncertain future, a changing economy, and careers that don't even exist yet.
Careers that don't even exist yet.
Accepted.
Do you consider traffic?
I need a job that doesn't exist yet, and I'll have an excuse not to be at work yet. But I need to get paid today somehow. How the fuck are you gonna make that happen?
I like it with salsa.
This is your Air Transat flight attendant, and I think you could use our vacation intervention promo.
Vacation?
That was market. That was targeting me. I'm supposed to go, oh yeah, I need a job. I need to train for a job that does. I'm supposed to call them up and look it up and borrow 10 grand and just go to school. And,
Excited news time.
for a job that doesn't exist yet.
Breaking news.
Well, fuck, if it doesn't exist yet, I'll just certify myself. I'm certified. What the fuck job should I hire?
Scott Burnett and Christine Ritchie.
Good evening. This is Wednesday, January 29th.
Here's what's making news this hour. BC's top doctor confirms a case of coronavirus, bringing the total of Canadians sick to 3. No one has died of the illness outside of China, where the outbreak originated. A Toronto
all 3 got here no matter
with
all
to
your
Canadians
screaming
right now
and
is
everything
not the
else.
coronavirus, it's the flu.
Kobe Bryant's widow speaks for the first time following the helicopter crash that claimed the life of her husband and 13-year-old daughter.
worried about
A new study into education practices proves you get better grades with honey than with vinegar.
Austin Matthews scores his 36th. Ovi jumps to 9th on the NHL all-time scoring list, and a Canadian sets a new record. Sports at 15.
A modest midweek gain for the markets. Facebook, Tesla report earnings, and the shocking viral clip from the Antiques Roadshow. If a man buys a watch for cheap, it sells for big money. Business at 27.
11:01.
Time for traffic.
That's a dream. Not to sell something on Antiques Roadshow. To catch that, to watch that
I
on
can't wait to
Antiques
hear this
Roadshow.
story. I'm so
That's
excited.
my
I'm
dream.
actually really excited. This report is brought to you by TSC. All right, so we're looking at some delays here through the construction zones on the eastbound 401. So east of McCowan and the Collectors, the 2 right lanes are blocked off. And this stretches for quite a while, and it's blocking the ramp to Nielsen as well. So as you're approaching Nielsen, that's where we're actually getting some really, really heavy backups in the collector lanes. So you want to be in the express going through here. Some good news, the construction way back at the 400 in the express it's all back up to speed. We're just looking at delays now out in the west end, the east end now. We have, like I said, the Brampton-Nielsen block, and then through Morningside in the Express, 2 left lanes are blocked through here. And so it's better if you get into the collectors going through here east of Morningside and pass by this construction zone. So those are the 2 spots. 401. Northbound Stevenson ramp to the east 401, that's also blocked off. We have the northbound Young ramp to the east 407 closed for some maintenance. The Finch ramps to the southbound 427 are closed as well. And off the highway, still with some lanes blocked here for a crash cleanup on St. Clair's, just east of Birchmount. Dalton's Skin Perfector set is the full coverage skincare and makeup hybrid you always wanted. Get it today at TSC and save 50%. Shop tsc.ca. Your next report is at 11:11, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
Goodbye to the clear skies. We're going to thicken up that cloud again overnight tonight and even start the day off with some flurries off the lake with an east wind. So could be a little slippery off some of those roadways early in the morning, especially the south of GTA along the lakeshore. -8 degrees in the morning, wind chill -13. And then the afternoon is going to be drier, but still a fair bit of cloud. A couple of sunny breaks thrown in there with a high of -2 degrees. Overnight tonight, we're down to a low of -8. And right now in downtown Toronto, we're sitting at -4 with a clear sky. Up at Pearson Airport, -7 there and clear as well. 680 News Time, 11:03.
We have breaking news. Canada's 3rd case of coronavirus confirmed this evening in British Columbia. Meantime, Ottawa preparing to pick up around 160 Canadians stranded in Wuhan province amid the outbreak.
680's Caitlin Lee joins us with the details.
BC's top doctor confirming the results are in. A man in his 40s who recently traveled to Wuhan, China, the epicenter of the outbreak, is sick with the virus. He has isolated himself, and health officials are closely monitoring him. This is the 3rd case of coronavirus in Canada. The other 2
I isolate myself
here in
and I still
Toronto.
walk around and do
Dozens
shit.
of Canadians are waiting for a plane out of the epicenter of the outbreak, where 170 people have died of the illness, but details are still being worked out. Canada's Health Minister Patty Hajdu can't yet say if these people will be quarantined when they return.
What we're looking at is a scenario where we have all the measures in place to protect Canadians from exposure to the virus. And having said that, that's about as far as I can go.
I'm Caitlin Lee.
And those evacuees won't be flying on Air Canada. The airline now canceling all direct flights to and from mainland China. With more, here's 680's at Richard Southern.
Air Canada normally runs 33 flights a week direct to Beijing and Shanghai from Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal. But they will be called off now until at least the end of February. Flights did leave the schedule today and will return tomorrow, but that will be it for a while. I asked Air Canada if this was a business decision or something to do with wanting to stop the spread of the coronavirus. It said its decision stemmed from the Government of Canada's advisory on non-essential travel to China. One would also suspect, though, that these flights were flying nowhere near full. We've certainly seen indications from other airlines about weak ticket sales to China. United, American, British Airways among those who have stopped or curtailed flights to mainland China. Richard Southern, 680 News.
And despite the concern about coronavirus, one Toronto doctor says we should be focusing our attention on the flu. 680's Phil Martino joins us with more. Dr. Dina Kulik is a pediatric emergency medicine doctor at Sick Kids. She says she's been hearing about how people are scared the coronavirus will turn into a SARS outbreak, but she tells me the current threat of the coronavirus is small.
We've not seen a dramatic increase in the number of cases as quickly as we did with SARS. And so far, the contagion rate and the death rate seems relatively low, especially within Canada, where we only have a few cases.
She says we should be focusing our attention on the influenza virus,
which is much, much more common right now. There are hundreds of thousands of cases in Canada right now, and the death rate from influenza each year is, a couple thousand.
I'm Phil Martino.
You're with All News Radio 680 News at 11:06. Happening right now, a portion of Line 1, the Yonge University line, has closed down for the night. There's no subway service right now between Spadina and St. Andrew stations for the rest of the morning. Shuttle buses are running instead. This is the 3rd of 4 nightly closures this week for regular subway corridor maintenance. It'll happen again Thursday night starting at 11.
680 News Time, 11:06. A pedestrian is dead after he was hit by a car in the Don Mills area during rush hour.
Police were called to the area at around 4:30 and pronounced a man dead on scene. There is no confirmation of just what caused the collision. Natalia lives in the area. She tells 680 News she often sees people jaywalking across the busy roadway.
Just people abuse this, like that's the wrong crossing, but people did this.
The driver of the vehicle stayed on scene.
It's back to the bargaining table today for the Ontario Elementary Teachers Union and the Doug Ford government.
Does Education Minister Stephen Lecce believe a deal could possibly now be reached? He was a bit evasive about that.
I don't want to prejudice the discussion. I'm going to commit to parents. Our focus is getting deals, and my hope is the union today will come to the table with a reasonable proposal, but we can bargain hard.
Lecce again putting all the blame on the union, saying it's up to them to be reasonable, despite saying twice,
it takes two to tango, respectfully.
But when I asked if the province has anything new to offer at the table, Lecce only highlighted offers from Queen's Park that have already been made. No comment from the Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario at this time. At Queen's Park, I'm Mark Douglas.
Vanessa Bryant has spoken publicly for the first time since the helicopter crash that killed her husband, Kobe Bryant, one of their daughters, and 7 others. Vanessa posted a message on Instagram thanking people for the outpouring of support since the tragedy. She also announced the formation of a fund to help support the other families that were affected by the crash. The Byrons would have celebrated their 19th wedding anniversary this April. They had 4 doctors, including Gianna, the 13-year-old who died in the crash.
680 News Time, 11:08. A new study says it's better to praise than to criticize.
Kids performed up to 30% better on tests when teachers praise them for good behavior rather than scolding them for bad behavior, according to the latest study from Brigham Young University. The word triggering a chemical response in the brain that make you feel good or feel fear, which inhibits focus, according to Dr. Nia Chaudhry, a child and adolescent psychiatrist at Mass General. Chaudhry also says constructive criticism is helpful if it's balanced with praise. The study observed more than 2,500 students from kindergarten to 6th grade over 3 years. Good job. Yuni Han, ABC News.
Coming up in 30 seconds, we'll check on the price at the pumps.
680 News Time, 11:09.
This is 680 News.
When you have 20/20 vision, you don't need glasses, just sunglasses. Because during Sunwing's deals of the decade, you can save up to $2,020 per couple on all-inclusive sun vacations. Vacation better at top-rated resorts with award-winning service every step of the way. But hurry, winter may be around for a while, but these deals will not. Book by January 31st with your travel agent or...
Now the 680 News gas price update. Info predicting the price of the pumps are not going to change at midnight, holding at $1.09.9 a liter at most GTA stations. Coming up in 60 seconds, traffic and weather together on the ones.
680 News Time, 11:09.
This is your weather station, 680 News.
Maybe you don't know where to start. Maybe tomorrow's goals feel so far away. What if we told you that maybe you're closer than you think? That a simple conversation can spark something amazing. Your savings and investments can stand for so much more when they don't stand still. And Scotiabank can help every step of the
yesterday
way.
they were telling us the number of people
Energize your
affected every
investing.
5
You're
minutes.
richer
Now
than
they're
you
not telling
think.
us.
Scotiabank.
I didn't find it yet.
Catch all the excitement of your favorite slots and table games at Casino Woodbine. Sign up for a free One Rewards membership today, and you could be eligible to get your first $250 on us. Need a lift? We've added new Toronto shuttle bus routes that will take you right to our front doors. Must be 19 plus. Rewards membership required. If you gamble, play smart. Casino Woodbine. Toronto's home for gaming and entertainment.
680 News Time, 11:11.
Traffic and weather together on the ones. Craig Gear.
This report is brought to you by Sportsnet. So some heavy slowdowns on the eastbound 401. The construction begins east of McCowan in the collectors. They have the 2 right lanes blocked off, but we're seeing delays as you approach Markham Road all the way over to Nielsen in the collectors here. The ramp to Nielsen is also blocked off, heads up. So that's our heaviest construction stretch. Very, very slow through here. You want to pick the express for sure. and then you won't have any problems. Farther along, we have some construction in the Express. It's just east of Morningside. Morningside over to about approaching Meadowvale in the Express. So it's shorter delays than the Markham Road to Nielsen stuff, but it's still there. So you have some slowdowns east of Markham Road over to Nielsen in the collectors, and then it starts getting backed up east of Morningside over to about approaching Meadowvale in the Express, all for overnight construction. That's pretty much it. We have some lanes blocked on the northbound 400 north of the 401, 2 left lanes, southbound 400 at Finch. It's the 3 left lanes here, and Major Mac on the south 404, 2 left lanes there, and then 2 lanes now on the west QEW just west of Winston Churchill, but we're all up to speed. The Finch ramps to the southbound 427, heads up, those are also blocked off tonight. See the Grandmasters of Curling compete in 6 Grand Slam events. The Pinty's Grand Slam of Curling on Sportsnet. Your next report is at 11:21, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramzahai.
That can't be true.
It was a one-day affair, that sunshine, because we are back to mainly cloudy skies for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We've got even some morning flurries to deal with tomorrow off the lake, so could make for some slippery conditions along some of those southern GTA highways, like Highway 2 across to the QEW. We're starting off at -8, wind chill -13 in the morning, and then the afternoon is drier, mainly cloudy with sunny breaks and a high of -2, and mainly cloudy with flurries on Friday as well with a high of 0. Tonight, we're down to a low of -8 degrees.
And right now, we're sitting at -4 with a clear sky at Pearson Airport, -7 there and clear as well. 680 news time, 11:13.
And remember, 680 News is the only Toronto radio station with a weather guarantee. And look at that. Our jackpot now sitting at $13,800. Wow. For your chance at the cash, head to 680news.com/contests. The president's legal team has told the Senate if they vote to hear witnesses, they will possibly delay the trial for weeks as they fight the request in the courts.
Lead House impeachment manager Adam Schiff dismissing the president's lawyers' arguments that adding witnesses could add weeks to the trial.
If you dare, if you have the unmitigated temerity to want witnesses in a trial, we will make you pay for it with endless delay.
The president's lawyers threatening to tie up Democratic witness requests in the courts, saying they will demand a number of their own. Andy Field, ABC News, Washington.
680 News time, 11:14.
Some live to ski, others ski to live. Introducing Bluemont, Blue Mountain Chalet living on 60-foot executive lots. Steps from the mountain. A lifetime of memories awaits you and your family. Chalets from $890,000. For more information or directions to our sales office, visit Premont.com.
As headmaster of St. Andrews College in Aurora, I'm often asked by parents why our school is right for their son.
The second you enter, you know you're a part of something truly amazing. There are tons of arts and extracurricular activities.
71 teams, 21 sports. There are so many opportunities to become a leader. 100% of our students are accepted to university.
The teachers sincerely care. They push you to do your best.
And I have brothers for life.
Experience for yourself what a St. Andrews College Day
or boarding program can offer your son.
Jonesboro open house on February 8th.
Details at sac.on.ca.
But it's not low-income housing anymore. I don't know where all these people came from that told rents up.
-4. Good evening from the 680 News Broadcast Center. I'm Scott Burnett.
And I'm Christine Ritchie. Here are the top stories this hour.
A BC man in his 40s who had recently returned from Wuhan, China, the latest confirmed case of coronavirus, bringing Canada's total to 3. Some health officials, though, think your worries better spent on the much more common influenza, which cases here in Canada is in the hundreds of thousands. More than 3,000 people die each year from the flu in Canada alone, despite the fact that we have a vaccine to fight it. And a portion of
that's how the vaccine works.
Line has shut down for the evening. Spadina to St. Andrew stations on the downtown
I don't get the flu. I don't need the vaccine. Fuck out of here.
The same closure will go into effect tomorrow night as well. Now 680 Sports, and from Sportsnet 5 The Fan and McNamara.
Thank you very much. And the Maple Leafs were in Dallas tonight, and the visitors opened the scoring.
Kept alive there by Barry. Marner in front of the net alone scores! Austin Matthews! What a wonderful pass from the magician! And Matthews has scored and now has 36.
Joe Bowen with the call on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Zach Hyman, Tyson Berry, William Nylander, and Andreas Johnsson also scoring as the Leafs win their second straight 5-3. Ottawa is up next on Saturday.
Nashville defeated Washington 5-4, but the Capitals' Alex Ovechkin scored to jump Steve Yzerman for 9th place on the all-time NHL scoring list. In an Olympic soccer qualifier versus St. Kitts, Canada's Christine Sinclair broke the international goal-scoring record when she recorded the 185th of her career. Canada got the 11-0 shutout. And the Raptors have the night off, but will be without Marc Gasol and Rondae Hollis-Jefferson when they play the Cavs in Cleveland on Thursday. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime on sportsnet.ca/590.
680 News Time, 11:17.
Be the first to know. Breaking news as soon as it happens. 680 News.
Hi, it's Ivanka Osmak. Normally, I'm a sports anchor for Sportsnet, but today I'm spreading the news about Sleep Country's Aquagel pillow. To be honest, I'd never even heard of a gel pillow before their sleep experts suggested I try it out, and I'm glad they did. The pillow is so comfortable. It's made with a water-based gel, so it's a super breathable alternative to memory foam that cradles your neck and keeps you cool. I've always been a little picky about my pillow, but that was totally embraced when I went to Sleep Country. Their sleep experts are sleep obsessed. It was amazing to see all of the options they could recommend based on just a few things I told them about my sleeping habits. So really, no matter how you sleep, I'm sure they'll be able to recommend a great pillow to you. Plus, right now, when you buy one Aquagel pillow, you get a second Aquagel pillow free. Get matched to your perfect pillow at Sleep Country or order online at sleepcountry.ca today. Sleep Country, all for sleep.
City News Time, 11:18.
Quebec Premier François Legault says the 2017 mosque shooting that left 6 men dead is a giant scar on all of the province. The Premier made the comments during his speech to a crowd in Quebec City gathered to commemorate the 3rd anniversary of the attack. Legault says the hatred displayed that night did not reflect Quebec's true nature and added that the Quebecois people have a duty to remember what happened. The gunman pleaded guilty to the killings. He was sentenced last year to life in prison without possibility of parole for 40 years. 680 News Time, 11:18. The future of the proposed Museum of Toronto is on hold at this point. Plans for a place to showcase the city's history were supposed to be presented at City Hall last year, but the clock's still ticking. Mark McAllister from City News with the details.
It's now been 2 years since the idea for a museum at Old City Hall was first given the thumbs up by council. The historic building will be empty as of 2022 when the municipal and provincial courts move into a new space. The idea to use it to showcase Toronto's history sounded like a good one. But Paul Federico from the Toronto Historical Association is now worried money might be a problem.
It's a lot of speculation. Oh, we need to do this, we got to pay this, but we don't know yet just the extent, and that's going to increase the budget.
Initial suggestions would have had the museum take up more than 100,000 square feet in the massive heritage building at Queen and Bay. City staff now say the feasibility study will come forward in the spring. For 680 News, I'm Mark McAllister.
Toronto's medical officer of health says misinformation is spreading about coronavirus that's damaging our Chinese community.
We are being singled out. We are being stigmatized because of the coronavirus.
That's Amy Goh, president of the Chinese Canadian National Council. She says fear and misinformation about the coronavirus has made members of her community targets for discrimination. Toronto's medical officer of health, Dr. Eileen Davila, says that is deeply concerning.
It is unhelpful to have misinformation spreading, and frankly, it does not offer any protection.
Mayor Tory says it's imperative
public health
for you
crisis.
to get your information
Let's have a
from
racist
credible sources like
slant on.
Toronto Public Health and avoid fake news.
This type of thinking is wrong. It is entirely inconsistent with the advice of our healthcare professionals.
At City Hall, I'm Omen Qureshi.
Up in 60 seconds, traffic and your extended forecast.
680 News Time, 11:20.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you want. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple.
For this second, I never considered they had more than 2.
We're 2 men and a truck. 2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
What?
So you went out drinking and you did the right thing. You left the car at home. Thank you. But did you know that if you drank a lot and stayed up late, you could still have alcohol in your system the next day and could register a warrant, even a fail on a roadside screening device? It can take up to 12 hours or more from the time.
So I keep calling it the Union of Socialist Canadian Provinces. I actually keep calling it Soviet by mistake, but this is the type of shit I'm talking about. Well, this screening. Okay. Screening, you think they mean like when they screen blood, like when they put it on a fucking glass plate and put it under a microscope and shit? No, that's not what they mean. They fucking mean they're asking questions. That's all it means. No medical screening for arrivals from 3 China flights. Just like that. What the fuck just happened? Just like that, more than 1,000 people on 3 flights from China walked into Canada without medical screening. Well, that's not technically true because they were asked questions. If the coronavirus happens to be incubating in any one of those passengers who arrived at Pearson International Airport's Terminal 3 on Monday, they are now mingling with Canadian residents. I was asked when we got to the Canada Customs, there's no apostrophe there. There's not supposed to. Inspection point, if I had been in Wuhan in the past 14 days or if I had a fever, said Jerry, who with his wife traveled from Shanghai. I said no. That one-word answer got him through. I want to know if these messages are in Chinese or not. I think they're going to be in English and French. Quote, I didn't eat for the whole flight, said Jerry's wife, T. I kept my mask on the whole time. Many passengers said they didn't want to take a chance of exposing their mouths to the virus. Passengers talked of hearing about sick people in China who perished at the hands of the coronavirus, but were oblivious to reports that up to 19 in Ontario may have been exposed. You didn't check your phone? Like, Jesus Christ. The big question was, anybody on these flights a carrier? All nice people, many visiting, many residents. But Canada is taking a big gamble. Those coming from China reported they did not see doctors, nurses, or undergo any medical screening upon their arrival at Pearson. Their entry is, in essence, based on a wing and a prayer. It is scary, said Maggie Tu, who came to Toronto for the first time to visit a friend. Tu wore her mask the whole time, but with a virus incubation period of up to 10 days, it was 14 days yesterday, she said it is something on one's mind. I was nowhere near Wuhan, but I guess you never know. That virus can spread, she said. Well, thank you for that. All passengers said they had their temperature taken upon boarding in China. Well, that's helpful. The people who served airline passengers were also taking precaution. Who took their temperature, though? Like a flight attendant? On these flights, even the pilots and the flight attendants were donning masks. Did you mean like before they weren't? See, this is the type of shit I'm talking about. Coronavirus control at airports is pretty much a leap of faith. There's no lie detector test or questioning designed to ensure people are telling the truth. Thousands have been given entry based on the honor system. I'm going to read this just because of this last part about food. As a porter at Pearson International Airport, Uti Panuturai understands the risks he's facing as the coronavirus spreads, but he's not going to stop serving customers. We know there's danger, but we have a job to do, he said. Since this issue broke, Uti says he has been wearing a medical mask and sometimes gloves. I bought a mask before they were all gone, he added. Think about that, one mask. We have to wear it because we really don't know where the passengers have been. Where's your mask been, bro? He described his supervisors as, quote, very supportive. Airport workers deserve a pat on the back for their dedication. I don't think so. It's money, eh? Anybody who works at the airport, from information people, currency exchange, security to check-in personnel, we're generally wearing masks. Thank you for that sentence. Canada Customs and Immigration staff, yeah, that one doesn't have an apostrophe. chose full-face masks since they are the first contact for incoming China flights. Fast food and restaurant workers at Pearson were also expressing concern since they too, it's TOO, motherfuckers, since they too, oh my God, they too have constant interaction with passengers. Check this out. Quote, we can't exactly wear a mask in the hospitality industry, so we run the risk of becoming exposed, said one waiter. We know it's a difficult situation, but the authorities are tougher on people trying park out front. That's where the TO goes. To park out front than they are on people coming in from where the coronavirus originates. You're working with food and you're the only people not wearing masks. You're working with the food and you might sneeze on somebody's fucking food, motherfucker. Why aren't you wearing masks? Now that I think about it, why are you working? If the masks are so available, if anybody can get them, why aren't all the fast food workers wearing them?
Days. It was up 1.1% today, $45.60.
What I love is when they count your money with the gloves on and then they make your food.
One of the more interesting ones was from Tesla, the company with a pretty big earnings beat, $2.14 per share on the bottom line. It's news that has helped Tesla stock already red hot reach further into record high territory, above $600 in the U.S. after hours trade. Facebook eked out a small earnings beat, but its costs and expenses surged 34%, and that had investors selling the stock. It fell about 7% of the after hours trading session. Hey, did you watch the Antique Roadshow? Interesting show there. One clip going viral that aired this week. A man bought a Rolex in 1974 for $345. It was a Rolex Oyster chronograph. Kept it in a safe. He said it was too nice to wear. When he got it appraised, he literally collapsed to the ground when he was told what it's worth today.
A watch like this at auction is worth about $400,000. You okay? Don't fall. I'm not done yet. I said a watch like yours because of the condition of it. Your watch at auction today, $500,000 to $700,000.
Collectors say they love the watch because Paul Newman wore a similar one in the 1969 movie Winning. Bay Street winning today. TSX up 10 points, Dow gained 11. The Nasdaq was up 5. Canadian dollar down at 75.77 cents US. This is 680 News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.ca/Canada. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
80% of employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. It's the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.ca/Canada. That's ZipRecruiter.ca/Canada.
Whatever virus
ZipRecruiter.ca/Canada.
680 News Time, 11:30.
Number one for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Here are Scott Burnett and Christine Ritchie. Good evening. This is Wednesday, January 29th.
Here's what's making news this hour.
Health officials maintaining the risk of transmission is low as a third Canadian case of coronavirus is confirmed, this time in BC.
A Toronto doctor says the influenza virus kills about 2,000 Canadians a year. That's why she claims the flu is a bigger threat to us than the coronavirus. Hopping on line 1, the Yonge University subway line could prove frustrating. A portion is now shut down for maintenance.
Kobe Bryant's wife posts for the first time about the pain her family's going through. I'm ABC's Jason Nathanson with more on that coming up.
Maple Leafs make it 2 in a row. William Nylander's riding a 6-game point streak, and the Raptors are down a couple players. Sports at 45.
A big beat, but a big sell-off for its stock. We're looking at earnings in from Facebook. TSX manages a 10-point gain, and Hollywood setting its sights on Toronto for its next big movie. Business at 56.
News time, 11:31.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Brett Gear.
This report is brought to you by 407 ETR, and we are are seeing some pretty heavy delays through construction out in the East End on the eastbound 401 as you're moving through Scarborough and beyond. So East 401 at Markham Road in the collectors, it's 2 right lanes that are blocked off. It stretches over to Nielsen, and it's also blocking the Nielsen ramps off of the eastbound 401. So that's the collector delays. You want to be in the express getting by here. But then just east of Morningside in the express, it's 3 left lanes that are backed up or that are closed off, and it's causing some backups from just east of Morningside in the express. So both delays in the express and collectors. Definitely, if you want a faster journey, pick the express before you get up to Markham Road. Get into the express before you get through this construction, because that's the worst of it right now. We have some lanes here and there blocked. Southbound 400 at Finch, 3 left lanes are blocked. Northbound 400 north of the 401, it's 2 left lanes, but everything's up to speed. South 404 at Major Mac, 2 left lanes here. Westbound QEW at Winston Churchill, 2 left lanes gone through there, but we're all up to speed. The Finch ramps to the southbound 427 are also closed. The crash at St. Clair just east of Birchmount, that's gone too. 407 ETR saves drivers 30 million hours of time each year, giving you more time for the things that matter most to you. Visit 407etr.com. Your next report is at 11:41, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
Tonight, we're down to a low of -8 degrees. Wind chill -13 is what you need to dress for in the morning. It's going to be cloudy, couple of sunny breaks late in the afternoon, but watching for some morning flurries could make for some slick conditions in the morning, as well as some reduced visibility, especially right along the lakeshore. So watch for that. Tomorrow's high -2 degrees. Tonight, we're down to a low of -8, wind chill -13.
Downtown Toronto right now, a mostly clear sky, -5, feeling like -9. 680 News Time, 11:33.
Health officials in BC have confirmed a case of the coronavirus, bringing the total number of confirmed cases in Canada to 3. It comes as the federal government plans to send a plane to Wuhan, China, the epicenter of the outbreak, to pick up around 160 Canadians trapped in the region.
680's Caitlin Lee joins us with the details.
BC's top doctors saying a Vancouver man in his 40s has the coronavirus originating in Wuhan, China. They say when he started to notice symptoms, he took the steps to isolate himself. The other 2 confirmed Canadian cases are here in Toronto. No one has died of the illness outside of China, where the death toll now sits at 170 people. Meanwhile, a plan to evacuate stranded Canadians from Wuhan may take a number of days. Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister saying getting a plane is just the first step.
After that, obviously, in parallel to that, we need to work with the Chinese authorities with respect to the authorizations you need to bring the plane, obviously, in China, but also work on the logistics.
I'm Caitlin Lee. Meantime, Air Canada says it won't be flying direct to China until at least the end of February. 680's Richard Southern has more from the Business Center.
Canada's largest airline operates 33 direct weekly flights between Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver to Beijing and Shanghai, but it's going to cancel all of those as of tonight, and they'll be grounded, those flights, until at least the end of February. Now, Air Canada tells me it's doing this because it's following the government of Canada's advisory on non-essential travel to China. But we heard from Air Canada just yesterday about demand being very low on these flights, so it's possible they just weren't financially viable to operate. We have seen other airlines like British Airways and United also scrap flights to mainland China. Richard Southern, 680 News.
And a Toronto doctor putting it all into perspective tonight, though, saying at the current moment the flu poses a bigger risk to Canadians than the coronavirus. 680's Phil Martino explains.
Sick Kids ER Dr. Dina Kulik says we have not seen a dramatic increase in the number of coronavirus cases as quickly as we did with SARS, and so far the contagion and death rate seems relatively low, especially in Canada, where we only have a few cases.
It hasn't become hundreds or thousands
have any
of cases
quickly. How do we have any?
She stresses we should be focusing our attention and the discussion on the influenza virus. It's much more common right now with hundreds of thousands of cases across the country. Plus, she says, we know how to prevent it.
There is an influenza vaccine, and yes, people aren't getting it. And that is scary and shocking and a bit disturbing to me.
Kulik says about 2,000 people a year in Canada die from the flu. I'm Phil Martino. 680 News Time, 11:36. Happening now, another close closure of a section of Line 1, the Young University subway line, is taking place right now. Services ended between Spadina and St. Andrews stations. Shuttle buses are running instead. Regular service on the Young University line will resume tomorrow morning. The same service disruption is scheduled for tomorrow night.
A pedestrian has died after being struck by a vehicle in the Don Mills neighborhood. It happened at Lawrence and at Donway West just after 4:30 this afternoon. Constable David Hopkinson says the man was found lying in the road.
Now, officers and paramedics found the man. They commenced life-saving measures, but they were unsuccessful, and he was pronounced deceased on scene.
Natalia lives in the area. She tells 680 News people often jaywalk at this spot.
It's not a regular crossing, that's the problem, but they jump because there's a shortcut to that restaurant, to the shops.
The driver is cooperating with police.
Sentencing proceedings began today for two men convicted in the violent sexual assault of a woman at the College Street bar. Christina Howard from City News has the latest from the courthouse.
The heinous assault, or rather series of assaults, happened over the course of more than 5 hours in December 2016 at a bar owned by McMillan on College Street. Jurors saw videos of the victim stumbling around in the bar and then being pinned down, slapped, having her throat grabbed, fried with cocaine, and sexually violated repeatedly by McMillan and De Jesus. She is shown repeatedly trying to push them away or tapping out. But after watching hours of video, the jury found she was in no state to provide any sort of consent. The Crown is seeking 12 years of prison time. De Jesus' lawyer is hoping for a sentence of 6 months less a day so he doesn't face deportation to the Dominican Republic. Now, McMillan's lawyers have filed an appeal in relation to his conviction, all part of a change to jury selection rules. As of right now, De Jesus' lawyers have not.
A sentencing decision will be handed down on February 12th.
680 News Time 11:38. Kobe Bryant's widow has released her first public statement since a helicopter crash killed her husband and 13-year-old daughter.
Thanking the millions of people who've shown support and love during this horrific time, Vanessa Bryant writes on Instagram that she and her 3 girls are devastated by the loss of her adoring husband, Kobe Bryant, and her beautiful, sweet Gianna. She says words can't describe her family's pain, and it's impossible to imagine life without them, but they try to keep pushing because Kobe and Gigi are shining on them to light the way. She also says they're devastated for the other families who lost loved ones in the helicopter crash and have set up a fund to help them, and asks for the respect and privacy her family will need to navigate this new reality. Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Well, the name of the new Seattle NHL franchise may have been leaked, according to a report on XSM NHL Network Radio today. The team could be called the Seattle Kraken. The official Twitter account for the Seattle franchise says it's aware of, quote, some fishy rumors surrounding the team name, and they're doing their due diligence, scouring the depths of the ocean, the tallest mountains, and the densest parts of the forests to find the right one. The new team, whatever it ends up being called, will start playing in the fall of 2021.
Well, coming up in 30 seconds, we'll take a look at gas prices.
680 News Time, 11:39.
Did you know the most active muscles in your body are your eye muscles? Make eye care your New Year's resolution with Pearl Vision. They're offering 40% off lenses with frame purchase and carry brands your family loves like Ray-Ban and Coach. Plus, Pearl Vision direct bills most insurance plans and welcomes your current prescription. Arrange your family's eye exams at pearlvision.ca. Valid prescription required. Valid at participating Canadian location. Taxes extra. Some restrictions may apply. See store for details.
So again, I say at least the Russians called themselves socialists and the Chinese call themselves communists. Canada pretends, but this isn't in Canada. But Toronto family's relative living in Wuhan refused treatment for coronavirus-like symptoms. All these people are sick, dying. They're locking them in somewhere, but they're not going to do nothing for you if you're sick. There is no treatment, by the way, so why am I even reading this? They're not telling anybody there's no treatment. The fears many have had about the state of the coronavirus in China are being shared in the harrowing experience of one Toronto family that has an ill relative living in Wuhan. Sha Jiang told 680 News that 4 of her relatives live in the city where the outbreak first began, and her aunt is believed to have contracted the virus. After experiencing flu-like symptoms, including a fever and even shortness of breath, Jiang's aunt went to a hospital but was refused treatment because of how busy the health center was. With hospitals described as being overcrowded and hospital workers being overwhelmed, Jiang and her husband said that people being denied treatment is becoming a new normal, especially if their condition or symptoms aren't as severe. So they're coming and going from the house. This isolation shit's bullshit. But this is what's happening in a country that calls itself communist. So why does Canada pretend? The Toronto family said with much of China under lockdown to help keep the virus from spreading, they're now left feeling helpless, knowing they can't go there or even send anything through the mail to help their family members who continue to struggle. Is there no Western Union type shit out there? Doesn't HSBC move money to China? All they're doing now is trying to keep frequent communication with their family to help keep them calm. That's helpful. That's real helpful. But this story comes in contrast from what officials with the World Health Organization said in an update on Wednesday when they praised China for responding the right way to the virus. As of Wednesday, there were more than 6,000 confirmed coronavirus infections and 132 fatalities. So we've already heard 7,700 and 170. It just ends there. Okay, well. Fuck, I thought you had something useful to say about this situation. I get refused treatment in hospitals. Oh, it's free, it's free, it's free. If you can get in, they can't just give you a bill and fucking charge you money. Yeah, that's true, but it's not that fucking simple. The socialist Canadian provinces. I can't decide if it's Union of or United.
The afternoon is drier, mainly cloudy with sunny breaks in the high of -2,
United
and mainly
Canadian
cloudy with
Socialist
flurries
Provinces.
on Friday to end off the month with a high near 0 degrees. Tonight we're down to a low of -8 degrees.
And right now we're sitting at -5 with a few clouds at Pearson Airport, -7 and partly cloudy. One of President Trump's lawyers today claimed if getting foreign help for his election is in the public interest, then it's not impeachable.
The president's attorney, Alan Dershowitz, saying it doesn't matter if the president held Ukraine aid to help his own election.
The president does something which he believes will help him get elected in the public
I don't
interest.
understand what the Ukraine could do for him. I don't understand
the kind
the
of
logic
quid
there.
pro quo that results in impeachment.
House Manager Adam Schiff saying you don't need to be a mind reader to know the president was only considering his own interest. Andy Field, ABC News, Washington.
Coming up in health and lifestyle news at 11:48, the Union for Elementary Teachers and the province resume bargaining after a 6-week hiatus. 680 News Time, 11:44.
Maybe you don't know where to start. Maybe
We have
tomorrow's goals
4
feel so far
school
away.
boards going on
What if we
rotating
told you that
strikes.
maybe you're closer than you think? That a simple conversation
So they're sending
can
out
spark
$60
something
checks.
amazing. Your savings and investments can stand for so much more when they don't stand still. And Scotiabank can help every step of the way. Energize your investing. You're richer than you think. Scotiabank. Over 500,000 Canadians are currently living with Alzheimer's disease. How can you help? You can help by creating a team with friends, family, or coworkers and fundraising together for the 30th IG Wealth Management Walk for Memories in support of the Alzheimer's Society. On Saturday, February 1st, join the largest indoor walk in support of Alzheimer's disease in Toronto. Visit walk.alz.to for more information and to register. That's walk.alz.to. Together, we walk.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
It's -5 with a few clouds. Good evening from the 680 News Broadcast Center in downtown Toronto. I'm Christine Ritchie. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Here are the top stories this hour. Another case of coronavirus in Canada confirmed tonight, this time in British Columbia, where that province's top doctor says a man in his 40s has the virus after recently returning from China. That brings the total number of confirmed confirmed cases in Canada to 3, with 2 others here in Ontario. And Canada plans to send a plane to pull out 160 Canadians stranded in China's Wuhan province, the epicenter of coronavirus. But it could take days to fly them home, since diplomats need to work out details and logistics with China. Meantime, Air Canada says it is now suspending all direct flights to mainland China. And coming up after sports, it has stared
into starry
nights for almost 20 years. Now Earth-sized planets and a ring around Saturn. But today, the telescope was put to rest. We have details up next. 680 News Time, 11:46. Now, 680 Sports brought to you by Northwood Mortgage from Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Here's Andy McNamara.
Thank you very much. The Maple Leafs were looking to make it 2 in a row down in Dallas, and were leading late off goals from Austin Matthews, Zach Hyman, Tyson Barrie, and William Nylander.
A race for it now. The Leafs are going to score into an empty net. Johnson puts the finishing touches to it, and the Leafs are going to go 2 for 2 on the road in Nashville and now Dallas.
Joe Bowen with the call on Sportsnet 590 The Fan, as Janssen put the finishing touch on a 5-3 victory. Ottawa is up next on Saturday. The Capitals' Alex Ovechkin took sole possession of 9th place on the all-time NHL scoring list with his 693rd goal, leapfrogging Steve Yzerman, and it's just 1 back of Mark Messier for 8th. Washington fell to Nashville 5-4. And the Raptors are out tonight playing it cautious with Marc Gasol, who will miss Thursday's game in Cleveland with a hamstring strain. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson also will not play. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590.
680 News Time, 11:47.
License 10349. It's a slap in the face. Your bank refused your mortgage. Don't get mad. Call Northwood Mortgage. Northwood Mortgage takes a closer look at your financial picture, property equity, past record, the promise of performance, and more. Northwood Mortgage does everything they can to approve the mortgage you need. That's their business. Northwood Mortgage. Visit NorthwoodMortgage.com.
We're working harder for you.
Some things just don't fit. Like a car that doesn't suit your lifestyle. That's why Toyota offers the fun-to-drive Corolla with available winter features like heated seats and heated side mirrors. Find the Toyota that's right for you. Lease the 2020 Corolla L for as low as $68 weekly at 2.99% APR for 48 months with $0 down, or finance at 0.49% APR for 36 months. Visit your local Ontario Toyota dealer or shoptoyota.ca. Some conditions apply.
680 News Time, 11:48.
Negotiations got back underway today between Ontario's Elementary Teachers Union and the Doug Ford government. 680's Mark Douglas tells us what Ontario's Minister of Education has to say about it.
The Education Minister was twice evasive when I asked if he thinks a deal could possibly be reached in these new talks. Stephen Lecce would only say that's what he's hoping for, and he says, quote, "It takes 2 to tango," unquote, but could not outline any new compromises the Doug Ford government is willing to bring to the table now. Lecce says it's up to the Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario to be reasonable.
The meeting today is critical because it can provide them an opportunity to do that. Stop doubling down on their demands on compensation, on higher benefits, higher wages.
A spokesperson for ETFO says it's anyone's guess how long these talks will go for. Otherwise, no comment for now, and no comment from the Ontario Francophone Teachers Union about their talks happening now and again on Thursday. At Queen's Park, I'm Mark Douglas.
One of NASA's great space observatories peered into the cosmos for the last time today. The space agency is retiring the Spitzer Space Telescope tomorrow after 16 years. Spitzer scanned stars and galaxies with his infrared eyes, uncovered a nearly invisible ring around Saturn, and helped discover 7 Earth-sized planets around a nearby star. NASA says it has been in decline for years and has become increasingly difficult to operate. So sad. Coming up, traffic and weather together on the ones, and
are people who drive luxury cars self-centered jerks, or are they misunderstood respectable people just looking for quality? A study takes a peek under the hood to find out who's behind the wheel.
Stay tuned for that. 680 News Time, 11:50.
1877.
This is fucked up. All sorts of money to hand out to certain people. Trudeau hands MasterCard a gift of your money. Those are real fucking media outlet. I didn't make this story up. This is real. Forget the corporate welfare for Canadian Tire's electric car chargers. I don't even know about that, but that might be a good idea. Or the $12 million Justin Trudeau gave Loblaws to help them buy fridges. They did that. Why? G. Weston family, rich fucking motherfuckers. They rigged the price of bread. How much of an asshole do you have to be to rig the price of bread? We've got a new champion for companies pigging out at the taxpayer trough, MasterCard. That's right, the Trudeau government is actually giving a handout to a major financial company that makes billions each year. In a little-noticed government news release last week, Industry Minister Navdeep Bains announced a gift of $50 million. You could have just hung on to the money and gave it as a tax credit or some shit. No. $50 million to MasterCard to help them set up shop in Vancouver, because Vancouver's expensive now, so they need help, right? Conservative leader Andrew Scheer had the best line as opposition parties pressed the government on the handout he played off of MasterCard's classic priceless ad campaign. These are white people jokes, so it's not that funny. Having a wasteful government that believes in corporate welfare isn't priceless. Turns out it's worth $50 million, Scheer said in the comments. And they probably went, oh, and made all sorts of noise. It's probably on C-SPAN or C-SPAC or whatever the fuck it's called. The government, which made the announcement at the swanky World Economic Forum, a who's who of the world elite in Davos, Switzerland, seemed caught off guard with Scheer's questions. Why did the Prime Minister make taxpayers so sad by giving $50 million to a company that made $16 billion last year off the backs of hardworking Canadians who can't afford to pay their full balances? You could have sent everybody, like, every adult, like, a $5 Tim Hortons card or some shit. A $5 bill. $5 in your bank account. It wouldn't even cost you anything to give it to us. Trudeau mumbled on about his government being focused on, quote, growing the middle class and those working hard to join it. You mean like the rich people that are working hard now that are dropping in value somehow? Nothing says middle class like giving a profitable multi-billion-dollar company $50 million from taxpayers. Why did the Prime Minister think that they needed a handout, Scheer asked again. Everything this government does is focused on the middle class and those working hard to join it, Trudeau responded. The NDP wasn't letting the Conservatives steal their corporate welfare thunder and jumped in on the action. Why does the Liberal government keep giving money to profitable companies instead of investing in our healthcare? NDP leader Jagmeet Singh asked. Trudeau, you could get a nice hospital probably for $50 million. Trudeau responded that his government is working hard to make medications more affordable. You could buy 50 people a really nice condo. Like, you could have done a lot of things with it. Make medications more affordable? What the fuck are you talking about? Given how well past corporate handouts have gone over, it's no wonder